Whether you represented Everton or just merely supported them, the names flashing by on the giant screen on the far side as Everton remembers. Everton in their royal blue shirts and white shorts, and Nottingham Forest in the all red. And when we gave you the team news just over an hour ago, we did include the name of Murillo. However, he was injured in the warm-up, and so therefore Nottingham Forest were forced into another change. And Raymond Sosa, making his first start in the Premier League, is the player who's been drafted in the Paraguayan international. So it means that Sells is in goal, a back four of Aina, Milinkovic, Morato and Williams, Dominguez, Anderson, Gibbs-White, Ilanga, Wood and Sosa. As our referee is Tony Harrington, as Everton will get us underway with Pickford, Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikolenko, Gay, Mangala, Doucouré and Jai. Broja making his first start for Everton, and Harrison. And there's already been a goal early in the Championship. Charlie Slater at Vicarage Road.
Watford 0, Cardiff 1 against the odds. Great ball, O'Dowda found Robinson, loads of space, 16 yards out, found the bottom corner. Cardiff are 1 up at Watford.
We had suspected that Forest might have gone to 3 at the back, but obviously they're now playing with a flat back 4. But what a blow to lose Murillo.
Yeah, I mean, they're a very adaptable side, you say that, but they've been working for the past few days. You know, obviously in the back 3 stroke back 5. And I've had to change it before the game's even started. I have to say, as players, you think, oh well, never mind, get on with it. But it is a massive change to maybe even Sean Dyche was thinking of doing against them as well. Game's just started, free kick in the middle of the field there. Actually lucky not to be a yellow card.
I think that's a point that Sean Dyche is pointing out to the fourth official, Jeff Eltringham, as Hearts are leading at Ross County in the Scottish Premiership. Ross County 0, Hearts 1. So Young stands over the free kick. Everton in their royal blue shirts and white shorts are playing from left to right. They're attacking the Park Stand end of the ground away towards our right, as this is a whipped ball in from Harrison off his left foot and then flicked on again by Mangala, a former Forest player, the midfielder. Is now Forest with Ilanga. With his pace, he was just held back momentarily by Idrissa Gueye. He's turning around to the referee. It goes out of play and away from him and out for an Everton throw on that far side, the left.
It shows the real strength of Everton, really, because there was a break on there. You know how good Ilanga's been recently, but it's going to be Gueye, or it's going to be Mangala, or it's going to be Doucouré are going to come in there and close any space, and it's very hard to play in that area.
Ball hit early by Young at right back. Fleetwood Town are leading Harrogate Town by a goal to 0. Pete Wild, his first game in charge, and leading Harrogate, who are struggling. They've lost their last 5. That's in League 2. So although it's 5 Lives Premier League Sunday, it's going to feel very much like a Saturday afternoon, as we've got all our reporters here, there and everywhere for a full programme both in England and Scotland. 2 minutes played, and Young now is also just feeling the effects of a challenge. He's just slowed it down, just went on getting his breath back, I think, a little bit, Ashley Young, as Harrison hits an early ball forward towards Broja.
One daren't say a gentleman of a certain age would have to do that.
Yes,
he is fantastic at his age, isn't he? He's been absolutely amazing, and there are 2 or 3 others right backs who could play today. He's still the chosen one.
Well, as the World Service join us, they were listening in the build-up to Stephen Calker, who was saying about he's been celebrating his 33rd birthday and saying how old he feels, and I'm thinking, blimey, add another couple of 20 years onto that. As a slip from Harrison. But wherever you are in the world, it's a pleasure to have your company on the World Service, as Cheltenham Town are leading Notts County by a goal to 0 in League 2. What does Broja bring to Everton instead of Calvert-Lewin, who's on the bench?
Well, he's decent in the air, but he's not as good in the air at knocking things on as Dominic Calvert-Lewin is. But he's I would say a slightly more natural goal scorer. So if you give him the chances, the belief is he'll actually put the ball in the net. But they're kind of, there's not a great deal between them, actually, and I know that sounds a bit harsh, but look at the numbers. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's numbers of goal scoring hasn't been great, particularly of late.
Made 3 substitute appearances before today, 51 minutes in total. Armando Broja. Swansea City 0, Luton Town 1 is a latest score in the Championship. Luton have lost their last 8 away from home. As Tarkowski comes to the edge of the area, his clearance though goes straight out to Gibbs-White. Early ball back in from that far side, the right, and claimed by Jordan Pickford, who just rolls the ball out to Idrissa Gueye, who can now come forward, and he will eventually reach Harrison on this near side. Just slowed down a fraction before he passed it left-footed on this near side, the right back to Young.
Well, one of the things you will see is you're asking a question about Dominic Calvert-Lewin against Broja. They're so direct, as I say that. Almost lost the ball there, Mangala. But they're very, very direct, Everton. You know, they're not quite so direct when they've got Broja up front. He's decent in there, but he's against two big centre-backs. You take your chances with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but you're not so sure with Broja. I think you need to play it a little bit more on the ground and get it wide.
Ball picked up on that far side by Njai to Decore, just outside the centre circle, back to Njai. Oh, that was sharp. That was an electric turn. Here is Njai as well, and sadly, from an Everton perspective, the finish couldn't match the approach play. It was a right-footed effort that he skied it, went over the crossbar, goal kick.
Yeah, beautiful piece of play. I was talking before the game, so happy to see Njai on the pitch today. You know, no matter who he's playing for, he's a joy to watch, and he is the bright spark that has got creativity for this Everton team, miles above anyone else in the team.
Let's get news of that Luton Town goal then from Molly Stevens.
Swansea 0, Luton 1, and it's captain Carlton Morris who capitalises on a huge mistake by Swans keeper Lawrence Vigouroux, who looked to play out from the back, cleared the ball, which hit Morris, who put Luton 1-0 up.
Manchester City are 1-0 up at Leicester. That's a 2:30 kick-off, but in one of the other 3 o'clocks there's been a goal. It's at Tottenham. John Southall.
Tottenham 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Brilliantly worked free kick, played out to Hwang on the edge of the penalty area, and he curled it into the bottom right-hand corner. Terrific finish from him. Tottenham 0, Wolves 1.
Well, they've won both under Vitor Pereira against a Tottenham side that has lost 4 of their last 5 in the Premier League. As Broja goes into a tussle with Morata, who slid on his knees. I thought he'd smuggled the ball with his knees over the goal line for a corner, but the assistant referee says it's a goal kick.
So did I, so did just about everyone wearing blue in this stadium today. However, I look at the reaction of Broja, maybe not, because Broja just accepted it, and he was the closest player.
See how Morata fares at the back for Nottingham Forest in the absence of Murillo. 23-year-old Brazilian that they signed for just over £12.5 million from Benfica. Hasn't made too many starts in his embryonic Nottingham Forest career as Gibbs White. Nicely off the chest, plays it out to Williams. Williams then digs it back towards Anderson, and then Forest with Williams on this near side, the left back. Shy of the halfway line, forward ball to Gibbs White, turns away from Harrison, looks for the early ball up towards Sosa, and gathered in by Jordan Pickford as we go to that 2:30 kick-off I mentioned. Leicester City, Masfaruqi.
Leicester so close to an equaliser. Buonanotte hitting the left post. City really nervy in clearing their area, and Leicester almost able to take advantage of the equaliser, but City still lead by a goal to 0.
Thank you, Maz. And here the referee has reached for an early yellow card
for Tarkowski. Yeah, I mean, he's got the ball, he's under no pressure whatsoever. His first touch was absolutely awful, under no pressure at all. Plays it too far in front of himself, has to slide to go in, wins the ball clear as a whistle, but follows through. And because of that, the referee saw that it's too much force and given a yellow card. Quite a harsh yellow card, but it was a terrible touch by Tarkowski.
12 yellows last season. He's cleaned up his act to an extent so far. That's only his 4th yellow card that he's picked up after being quite prolific last year. Harrogate Town have got an equaliser incidentally at Fleetwood. Fleetwood Town 1, Harrogate Town 1 is the latest score in League 2. So this free kick for Nottingham Forest, it remains 0-0, 8 minutes played at Goodison. Elanga is the player who is standing over it, and then he chips it right-footed. It's always going away from the onrushing players, and it bounces into the arms of Jordan Pickford, as we will go to Craven Cottage and Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0. Early couple of chances for Bournemouth though. Short back pass by Jimenez, played Ivan Nielsen in, tried to take it round Leno, who recovered well, and then Leno's just made a sharp save to deny Brooks as well. Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0.
Should just say, spoiler alert, Everton are a coupon buster this season, because of the current top 5, they have held Arsenal, Chelsea and Newcastle United all to goalless draws. Throwing the 1-1 draw recently with Manchester City, you know this way this game could easily go.
I think that's what most people are expecting, but you know how mad football can be, especially in this period where you've got a lot of tired players out there, because they've got so many games in such a short period of time. You never know, if you get an early-ish goal, it might open up a bit. I underline the might.
MK Dons 1, Crewe 0, a latest score also in League 2. 0-0 in the early stages. Anderson just rolls the ball back and then plays it back inside. This is Dominguez returning to the team after suspension, and they're just keeping it there in that middle area of the field. Triangular passing patterns between Anderson and Dominguez and Gibbs-White. Now it's out with Aina, who can come forward on that far side, the right, over on that far side, playing from right to left as we look. Elanga is level with the penalty area, rolls it back to the former Fulham man, and then just plays it short to Anderson, who I think bemoans the lack of movement from Elanga, and then eventually it breaks down for Forest and it's picked up by Decore. Midway through his own half, diagonal forward ball, able to turn his Harrison inside the centre circle, creates a bit of space actually for Young, but then doesn't use him, turns into a bit of traffic, caught in possession by Anderson, and the turnover now is on for Forest. And this is an effort coming in from Wood, off his chest, and a right-footed volley that is pulled wide in front of the Gladys Street end, and it goes out for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0. And while Tranmere Rovers 0, Barrow 1 is the latest in League 2. Another goal at Tottenham, John Southall.
The lead didn't last long. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. Corner from the right-hand side from Porro. There was Rodrigo Bentancur at the near post with a header. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1.
And you can feel the relief. Fulham Bournemouth 0-0, as is Crystal Palace Southampton at Selhurst Park. Bouncing ball picked up by Pickford. Pat.
Just a moment ago, 3 or 4 minutes ago, it was a Gibbs-White pass, and he's got the number 10 in his back, but he is playing the classic number 10 position, and he's one of the best in the business at it just now. He made a great goal last week, just a little slip through ball, and he's got a willing runner in front of him in Wood. They are a pair that certainly Everton will have to look out for today.
Tony Harrington, the referee, has just played in a good advantage because Njai had been fouled. Young on this right hand side, level the area, twist one way then twist the other. His left footed cross was easily headed out by Murato, picked up by Tarkowski. Showed good footwork there with Tarkowski. His threaded ball is slightly behind Broja, and it runs through towards Matt Sells.
It looked like great skill, but I'm not too sure he knew what he was doing half the time there. Tarkowski got in a midfield area, eventually came out with the ball and found himself up beside his centre forward, but not able to get the 1-2 off Broja. But the right idea at the end.
Crystal Palace Southampton, Henry Moran.
Well, that's Palace, the stronger side. Ismail Yassar having a shot from inside his own half. Didn't trouble Ramsdale. He did have to make the save, though, from Eberici Eze on the edge of the box. Southampton going long at almost every opportunity. What a change this is. Palace 0, Southampton 0.
Oxford United are leading Plymouth Argyle by a goal to 0. Plymouth, who are yet to win away from home this season, and 8 without a win, home or away, bottom of the table. And doesn't really bode well, that at all, as Oxford United, under their new manager Gary Rowett, lead. Here is Gibbs-White. Took it neatly into his feet, then ran into Gay. Everton give the ball away. Anderson now will try and curl that ball out towards Elanga. He succeeds, right corner of the area. Elanga now with a cross. Wood with a header. Off target, goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, that was a great ball in there. Just keep on putting the ball into those areas. You know that Wood's going to get onto the end of them. Just got a little flick there, and that's 2 goals at a goal he's had already. Doesn't think twice, does he, Chris Wood?
It's no longer goalless at Selhurst. Henry Moran.
Well. Crystal Palace 0, Southampton 1. The ball turned into the back of the net from close range from Tyler Dibbling, and what a turn up this is. They've done basically nothing all game, Southampton, but they do now have the lead. Palace 0, Southampton 1.
As do Burton and Crawley, respectively, at Huddersfield and Exeter, both in League 1. Huddersfield 0, Burton Albion 1, Exeter City 0, Crawley Town 1. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and also available on the BBC Sounds app. Pat Nevin.
If you're a Forest fan, you're desperate to get a number of players on the ball. Obviously Gibbs-White's the clear one in that central area, but also Elanga. Can you get him a chance one-on-ones with Mikolenko on that right hand side there? Not quite happened yet, but that's one of the great things about this Forest side, isn't it? They have good quality players, and I'm sure you and I have watched Elliot Anderson quite a bit over the years. He can be a very special player as well. Yeah,
certainly think that Newcastle United were reluctant to let him go, but the to fit in with the financial fair play was a necessity. Bristol City are leading Portsmouth by 1-0 in the Championship. And let's get news of that Oxford United goal from Laura Kenyon.
Oxford United 1, Plymouth 0, the worst possible start for bottom of the table Plymouth. Wayne Rooney under immense pressure, a dreadful away record, and Oxford United lead through Kieran Brown, a header goal at the back post. Oxford United 1, Plymouth 0.
Everton were attacking, and Jai, though, caught just as stepping out of defence was Murata. Well-timed challenge it was too. Two games we've got featured for you in the Scottish Premiership today, and one of them has seen a goal. It's at Fir Park, Kenny Crawford.
And it's Motherwell 1, Rangers 0. Things going from bad to worse for Philippe Clement and his side, and the goal scorer is Australian international Apostolos Stamatelopoulos. The ball was poked through to him, and him in turn poked it through the legs of the on-rushing Jack Butland for his 5th goal of the season. It's Motherwell 1, Rangers 0, but has it been disallowed?
Gibbs White hits it early. Here is Wood. Wood lifts it over the goalkeeper. Oh, he took it so well. Third time lucky for Chris Wood. He'd gone close twice before, but it was a lovely lob over Pickford. And Nottingham Forest take the lead at Goodison. Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Well, when we just talked about the fact that Gibbs White, you know, he's the one that wanted to play through as much as possible. His intelligence, playing as a classic 10 there, and it's basically a 1-2 that he's played with Wood, and if Wood is 1-1, he just flicks over the top there, absolutely effortlessly. Some people panic in that situation. You just know that Wood's not going to do that. Brilliant play by Gibbs White to get up there, but what a lovely 1-2 it is between the both of them.
It was, and it was just superbly finished, wasn't it?
Actually, I said Gibbs White, it wasn't Gibbs White, it was Elanga, wasn't it? He's come into that position there and he's played alongside him. 1-2 with him, goes on to Wood, and when he's 1-1 there, you knew he wasn't going to miss, didn't you? Certainty.
Wood with the right-footed lob. If that goal changes, by the way, at Fir Park, then I'm sure Kenny will keep us up to date. But it does stand, I'm told. So Motherwell do lead Rangers by 1-0. And for Chris Wood, it takes his tally to 11 for the season. But that's 21 goals in 35 Premier League games under Nuno Espirito Santo.
Do you know, he knows what he's good at as manager. And if he thinks he get the wide players, get a 10, get the ball in as often as you possibly can. Wood never takes more than 1 or 2 touches at a time, does he? You know, wherever he is. I mean, just before that, he'd had a header that was slightly off target, not his fault at all. Before that, he was 25 yards out, 1 touch, bang, shot, just goes over the crossbar. So he just doesn't think. So get the ball into him in a decent area, and he'll give you an opportunity to go.
So much for the talk of it being 0-0 as well. But Chris Wood and Nottingham Forest, and they're coming forward again with Williams. He's got options, actually left, right and through the middle through Elanga. He had also Dominguez Sosa going through to the left hand side. And Everton at the minute, after their little revival of 4 games unbeaten, have got to just gather themselves a little bit.
Well, it's amazing how quickly the atmosphere has changed. It's been incredible. You know, it was okay. You know, started the game really excited, but Everton fans lost the goal there, and then Everton fans are thinking, well, wait a minute, have we created anything here yet? And the answer is basically, no, not yet.
Ball is hit long. Half time as it's cleared away by Forest on the edge of the area. Half time at Leicester, Maz Faruqi.
And it is Leicester 0, Manchester City 1. Ian Savino with the goal 20 minutes in, but Buonanotte hitting the left post with a header later in the first half for Leicester, so close to the equaliser. Manchester City though lead by 1-0.
Reading are leading Mansfield Town by 1-0 in League One. And for Nottingham Forest, they are looking for 5 successive wins for the first time since, well, when Frank Clark was a manager in 1995. And Nuno Espirito Santo has got those Forest supporters thinking and dreaming of the potential of European football.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, that thing we heard in 5 Live this morning, that they haven't been in the top this position since Brian Clough's days.
Yeah.
That long since they've been there at the turn of the year. Incredible.
Yeah, guaranteed to be the top 4 at the turn of the year for the first time since 87-88 under Brian Clough, when they finished 3rd. And they're leading here by 1-0. Half time then, Manchester City 1-0 up. Southampton lead at Crystal Palace. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1, Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0. And Everton looking for an equaliser. Got a corner kick, attacking the Park end of the ground.
Of course, they're 1 centre back down from where they were before the game, which might make a difference. Obviously, Murillo not in the centre there now, so that might be a little help for Everton.
Well, let's see if they can utilise that. It's going to be a corner that's actually going to be rolled by Njai to Harrison, then backheels the ball to Njai, but Williams was wise to it, and then Harrison slides in and gets the block challenge, and it goes out of play for a throw.
And it's really good with Williams there, because it's not that he's guessed. He's obviously been told, look, they're going to try this one. It's a little backheel towards the byline. Just walked onto it. Really good defending by Williams there, but you do wonder if Everton, the second best from corner kicks in the league, and they take a shot.
The other thing as well, Pat, is that Forest have now, even before today, they'd scored first in more games than anybody else in different Premier League matches. That's 15 times now that they've scored first this season. You know, this is a team that is well drilled, well organised, and certainly thriving under Nuno Espirito Santo. No foul on Young. Clearance by Sosa. Wood's chest off actually goes behind Gibbs White, and Everton as a result are back in possession. 20 minutes play for the first of our commentaries as we head towards the new year on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, the home of Premier League football. Out towards Mikolenko on that far side. Ooh, that one went badly awry.
I think Aina tried to get a goal kick there, hasn't he?
Off Mangala's legs, and that one didn't quite come off, and he's gifted Everton a corner kick on the left.
I mean, Aina is a lovely full-back, right full-back, really powerful, really strong, looks good going forward as well. Sometimes looks a wee bit overconfident, and on that occasion I think you could say that. My guess is Everton won't take this corner shot after the mess they made the last one.
Ashley Young goes across towards that far side in front of the travelling support. The Forest fans filling both tiers on that far side of the ground at Goodison. The arms stay aloft by Ashley Young. This should be an in-swinging corner from the left. Indeed it is, and Branthwaite's header is over the bar, and it will be a goal kick, although there are some Everton players saying to the referee it should have been a goal kick.
I think Branthwaite's absolutely devastated with that, because he got up very, very high. He just needed to get a clean header on it, and it hit his shoulder. It's not his head, it's his shoulder, I'm sure, that hits there. And considering it was pretty clear in front of him, he knows he should have got that on target.
Well, if Everton are to come from behind today and to win this game, then something will happen that hasn't happened between these two in a league meeting since back in 1982, because Everton's last 13 wins have all been to nil since the early 80s. But it's Forest who lead by a goal to nil as we approach the midway point of this first half. And Williams, a former Liverpool player, all in red here for Forest today, helps Forest repel that Everton attack, and it will go out for a Forest throw. No other goals elsewhere around the country to tell you about, but Forest do lead.
It's one of those games where if you're an Everton fan, you're looking up and thinking, well, what has Brozier done? You know, he's not done an awful lot so far. But like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who sometimes starts as well, you need to give him the ball, you need to give him half a chance, you need to give him something to attack. And so far, particularly from the wide areas, nothing has come in there at all.
Decore, edge of the area, popped up. There's a suspicion of handball against Aina, who's now quick to close down Njai. Left corner of the penalty area with his back to goal, he turns and then curls the ball in towards Harrison, but it's well marshalled out by Williams, and it goes out for a goal kick as we'll go to Fulham and Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0. Fulham have started to get going a little bit. Couple of shots on target in the last 10 minutes, both for Harry Wilson, one from 14 yards out, the other from 18 yards out, both saved by Kepa. Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0.
Match of the day tonight, BBC 1, 10:30. Tottenham Wolves, John Southall.
Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. Good chance for Tottenham, corner on the right hand side, which was the source of the goal. Dragusin with a header, fraction wide of the left hand post. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1.
It's a hell of a story this though for Nottingham Forest, isn't it?
It's extraordinary. I mean, you look at them now, you know, it's just it's the old square pegs and square holes, isn't it? You know, each player knows exactly what their job is. They've got a really nicely balanced squad. There's no Hudson-Odoi today, right? It doesn't made much of a difference to playing exactly the same way. And that's what you need in the Premier League. You're going to get injuries, everyone's moaning about it, but you need a depth of squad where if 2 or 3 drop out, you've got roughly the same quality to bring in.
I wonder if the fourth official, Jeff Eltringham, got a pair of cotton buds or ear protectors from Santa at Christmas, because Sean Dyche at every opportunity is in his right lug hole,
And it's a very small little area as well, isn't it?
Elanga goes long with a free kick aimed towards Milinkovic. There's no escaping the fourth official down there, as Everton still trail by 1-0. Gay just rolls it out towards Broja, coming onto that ball on that far side, the left touch line, and they'll get a throw on the halfway line.
One of the problems that Everton have got is because it's the Dyche style, when they break, they don't break in huge numbers a lot of the time. You know, the four at the back don't always fly forward. You won't get the two full-backs flying forward that often. So sometimes if you get the ball in the break, you look up and you see 3 red shirts and 1 blue shirt ahead of you. It's just kind of difficult.
I was listening to Colin Murray on 5 Live on the way over today, and they had an Everton supporter on as the ball is hit long towards Broja, who makes a run into the inside right channel, couldn't bring it under control and just diverts the ball into Sells, and the Everton supporters, forget his name, forgive me, but he was saying that the jury is 50-50, and it's the style of football. Yes, results have improved of late, but the style of football is still not pretty.
No, it's not, and it won't be. But then you got to, if you look at the net spend of any team in the Premier League, Everton's lowest. What are you expecting? You're not going to get millions of fantastic quality players with a lower spend than absolutely everyone else in net. So, you know, I think he's done a great job with what he's got just now. But I think most Everton fans understand that. But it is frustrating when you're the school of science that expects always good players playing good football.
Well, they've only scored 9 goals in 8 home games. Only Palace, Ipswich and Southampton have scored fewer. And indeed, Palace and Southampton are meeting today. Henry Moran.
Where it remains, Crystal Palace 0, Southampton 1. The goal from Tyler Dibbling. Palace growing into it though, lovely moves. Sees Lerma with space on the edge of the box. His shot beaten away by Ramsdale. Crystal Palace 0, Southampton 1.
Aina just ducks underneath the ball, is being pursued by Decore on that far side. He clears long, picked up by Gay. Central position midway through the Nottingham Forest half. Hibs are leading Kilmarnock by 1-0 at Easter Road in the Scottish Premiership. Here is Young, rolls it short and inside to Harrison, comes onto the ball, left-footed ball to Mykolenko. Aina will volley it away. It was Elanga running back who actually did well to head it up in the air as the two of them combined. Mykolenko plays another ball into the box. Broja's header is going to drop and run away off target and peter out for a goal kick. As Notts County have equalised at Cheltenham. Cheltenham 1, Notts County 1, and we'll get an update in the darts with James Gray.
Kevin Dukes and Poland's Chris Ratajski in a classic here, Dano, deciding set, a 170 checkout from the Dutchman in the 6th to get here. 3 sets all, 1 leg each. It's tense but brilliant.
Cheers, James. Earlier on, the results in the Championship. Sheffield United going top after a 1-1 draw at Bramall Lane. Preston beat Sheffield Wednesday by 3-1, and Norwich and Queen's Park Rangers played out a 1-1 draw at Carrow Road. In League One, Charlton beat Wickham by 2-1, Rotherham 1, Stockport 1, and in League Two, Bromley maintained their excellent run of form, 11 unbeaten now under Andy Woodman, 1-1 draw against Swindon, and Carlisle United, bottom of the table, beat Accrington by 2-1. This is the Premier League, live on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds, where the goal scorer Wood for Forest runs down this near touchline and runs out of play, and Everton get a throw.
I think a lot of players that come out of the Everton side desperate to do well, but find themselves a bit isolated, particularly up front. And looking at Broja there, his body language already doesn't look brilliant just now. And I watched him very early again in his career, and it was all action, it was all physicality, and he was chasing everything. Pace looked good. You look up now and he looks a bit, what do I need to do here to get a hold of a ball? And we're very early on in the game, less than half an hour gone. And he already looks a little bit downhearted.
I think there was many Everton supporters who would share those sentiments as well. St Mirren 0, Dundee 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. One of our featured games in League Two has seen a goal. It's at Grimsby, Mark Webber.
Indeed, whereas Grimsby Town 1, Port Vale 0. A ball in from the right found Cameron McJanet on the left post, and he slotted it in front of his own crowd. Grimsby 1, Port Vale 0.
Port Vale just losing a little bit of form at the moment without a win in 6 going into that game, as Gibbs White just turns back and makes some sort of gesture to the Everton dugout.
He certainly does, and that's what I was laughing at too. We know that Giswaite's a good player. We know that he's confident and all that sort of stuff. We now know that he's very, very brave, because he's turned around to Sean Dyche as if to say, shut up.
It was the beak sign, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. I wonder if Sean will have a wee word with him on the way off.
He'll be pleased not that it was a yellow card, but he is one of 3 Forest players. As the ball drops a long way in towards the penalty area and cleared by Milinkovic at the back. Would have been 4 had it been for Murillo, but the threshold for the accumulation of 5 yellow cards that will result in a 1-match ban ends after 19 games. So that threshold will stop today for Forest players, and so they just have to see this period through, and then they will avoid a 1-match suspension. As Forest, leading by 1-0, get a free kick in their favour, and another goal at Selhurst Park. Henry Moran.
Equaliser for Crystal Palace, Trevor Chalobah with it, but I wonder if they'll be going upstairs to VAR. Indeed they are. Aaron Ramsdale got in a right scrap with Mateta at the near post. He's furious. It remains Palace 1, Southampton 1. We'll see if the goal stands.
And you'll let us know. So we know Rangers are ahead, and there's been a goal. Sorry, Rangers are behind, and there's a goal at Celtic. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, more to celebrate at Celtic Park. They're up 1-0. Nicholas Kuhn, 7th goal of the season, received the ball 20 yards out, took an extra touch, got himself just outside the box and put it well beyond Josh Ray. Celtic 1, St Johnstone 0.
I knew as soon as I'd seen your reaction, Pat, that I'd made a faux pas.
Yes.
The fact that you nearly took my teeth out with the elbow to my left-hand side is another matter.
Yeah, no, you're going to be bruised all over the place. I've already had the same reaction that Hibs going ahead.
Forest with 14 minutes remaining, still lead by 1-0. I've got to say, from a neutral's point of view, there's been no sign of Everton getting anywhere near a leveller.
No, it doesn't look like it. You're already thinking this early on, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You're already thinking it, and it's pretty early on in the game to be thinking that.
Bristol City lead Portsmouth now by 2-0 at Ashton Gate. And Henry, did that goal stand?
The goal stands. Aaron Ramsdale furious, but Palace have the equaliser. Palace 1, Southampton 1.
Cheers, Henry. Broja out towards Mikolenko. First time cross, Broja on the run. His header was always dropping wide, but at least you can hear the level of appreciation from just something a little bit more positive.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned beforehand that they don't get the full-backs up often enough, because that's just the way Sean Dyche's team goes. One's allowed to go now and again, but not two at the same time. But sometimes in this league you need to do that, and this time Mikolenko gets wide, gets into a good area. The ball wasn't great, and Broja was a long way out. No surprise it went over the bar.
So 1-1 at Tottenham, 1-1 at Crystal Palace, 1-0 to Forest here at Goodison, and at Craven Cottage, Lee Blakeman, you thought you'd seen a goal. However,
it's still Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0. Corner swung in, James Hill with a header in at the back post, disallowed for a push. Looking at it back, it is about right. So still Fulham 0, Bournemouth 0.
So's will be offside here. Flag does duly go up. Pat.
To me, it hasn't been brilliant, let's be honest about it. I mean, it's not a phenomenal game so far, but there's no need for Nottingham Forest to do any more than they're doing just now. They're just holding their positions, they're making sure that there's no gaps at the back. They're making Everton go a little bit long towards Broja. He's not winning anything in the air. If you're an Evertonian, you're thinking, getting Jai in the ball. But after the first 10 minutes where he looked really, really lively, he's been starved of possession. And on the other side, just a little chance Pickford takes there. Not the first time we've ever said that phrase. It wasn't a good ball by Tarkowski, was it?
It wasn't. Didn't do him any favours at all. Pickford had come to the right-hand side of his penalty area, so he was well out of his box. Rolled a free kick into Tarkowski, who almost sold him short, and Wood was just hovering and loitering and looking to take advantage as Everton then build with Njai on that far side, but he's been stopped in his tracks by Aina, who will look to clear and uses his strength well, and then actually runs out of playing service and gives away a throw to Everton, level with the penalty area far side the Everton left.
Good battle. I want to see the ball out there quite a lot, because Aina's really love him as a player as well. A little bit of the Reece James about him, and certainly no lacking of confidence, but the one-on-ones between those two players and Njai, entertaining on their own.
Leyton Orient are leading Cambridge United by 1-0. Bristol City have got a third against Portsmouth in the Championship. And another goal at Motherwell, Kenny Crawford.
It gets worse for Rangers. Motherwell 2, Rangers 0. Tawanda Maswanisi, the Zimbabwe international formerly of Leicester City, took a high ball down and cushioned it into the bottom right hand corner. Motherwell 2, Rangers 0.
Stevenage leading Bristol Rovers by a 0-0 in League One. That's at Broadhall Way. We've got just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Sells clears, then slips, much to the amusement of the Everton supporters. Header from Wood, collected by Elanga midway through the Everton half. Diagonal ball inside towards Gibbs-White. They lost it, and it's now with Idrissa Gueye turning back on the corner of his own penalty area. Branthwaite with a clearance goes over the head of Broja. It'll just settle here for Morata, and he then pays the ball out towards Nico Williams at left back, and then Everton Forest play it back and look calm and assured in possession.
But that's the problem you've got with Everton. You've got three midfielders that are... Doucouré often sits back alongside Gueye and Mangala. You need more than that if you're going to try and press. There's no point in trying to press with one or two or maybe three. You need everybody to be pushing up together. Just not Everton's thing at all. So they're going to give away possession easy there.
Tranmere are level in League 2 at home to Barrow. Tranmere 1, Barrow 1. Exeter City have also equalised at home to Crawley Town in League 1. Here is Orel Mangala, who they sold to Lyon. He's back in English football on loan from the French club as Harrison swings over a cross, headed away by Morato. Picked up by Wood, the goal scorer, lifts it over the head. Sosa now heads it on. Branthwaite has to come across. Sosa just tried to play a left-footed ball into the penalty area. He had two red shirts to aim for, Gibbs-White and Elanga. Cut out. Branthwaite now keeps the ball in play, and in the end has to concede a Forest throw.
It wouldn't actually make me feel very popular around here, but it was almost Van Dijk-like the way Branthwaite went over. The temptation was to go and dive in there, to make the big tackle, but if he missed it, he was in trouble. But he just took his time, knew the angles, danger averted very well. Lovely player today.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin on BBC Radio 5 Live, where his former club Everton are trailing to Nottingham Forest by a 0-0. Forest have a throw on the left, headed up rather than away, bounces in that penalty area, right-footed clearance. Morato is clearly holding Broja, and that might well result in a yellow card. No, it doesn't. Surprised about that. Bradford City 0, Chesterfield 1. Crawley are back in front. Exeter 1, Crawley Town 2. Bolton Wanderers lead Lincoln by a 0-0. The ball was moving, so Pickford's going to have to retake that free kick, as we will go where next on BBC Radio 5 Live. It's to Tottenham, John Southall.
Well, it's Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. Tottenham having a corner kick over on the left-hand side, played to the near post, cleared away by Wolves. Almost had a special from Cunha, 25 yards out, struck it so well, flashed past the left-hand post. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1.
Mikalenko with a cross. Doucouré was there. Morato did well to head it away. Forest clear, out of play, it goes for a throw. Goal of Vicarage Road, Charlie Slater.
38 gone, Watford have an equaliser. Watford 1, Cardiff 1. Vata, right-footed cross from the right side of the box. It found Shakfatadze at the back post, who put it past the keeper. 1-1.
Watford, who are unbeaten at home this season, as Branthwaite goes on a strong run. And if Pat compared him to Virgil van Dijk, just as quietly, that was almost Hansen-esque, the way that he strode out from the back.
Van Dijk used to do a lot more of that when he was up at Celtic. He's calmed himself down a bit from that. But oddly, see if you come out from the back there, it really confuses everything. And I just wish he would do it a little bit more often. Maybe he's been asked not to do it that often. But the other thing to mention, since I said that the full-backs aren't getting forward, Mikalenko 2 or 3 times has gone forward on that left-hand side, and you could hear the roar in this crowd. Everybody wants that to happen here.
Well, they haven't, to be fair, had a great deal to get excited about, have they? Swansea City, though, their supporters, they certainly have. Molly Stevens.
Swansea 1, Luton 1. Just reward for Swansea City, who have pressed and persisted for that equaliser. Ricocheted off numerous Swansea players before eventually falling to Gonzalo Franco, who poked it into the back of the net for 2-2. Swansea 1, Luton 1.
We've got 7 minutes to go to the break here on BBC Radio 5 Live, with the Everton flag on that stand on the far side, just laying a little limp now. It wasn't earlier on. The wind maybe just dying down on a slightly chilly afternoon here, as we Everton with a clearance from Tarkowski, a little bit sliced in the air, drops towards Anderson. He's got Mangala all over him, pulling him back at the shoulders, but he keeps on going, and then the ball wasn't kept in play by Elanga, and Everton will get a throw. Let's get another update from the darts with James.
We just had an absolute classic at the Palace between two underdogs. It's the Dutchman Kevin Doots, who knocked out Michael Smith last week. He pipped it 4-3. He wins over Chris Ratajski, and Doots will meet England's Chris Dobey in the last 16.
Well, this is far from a classic, I can tell you. Cheltenham 1, Notts County 2 is the latest score in League 2.
This is very Everton at the moment. It's the way they play most of the time. And even if they get a draw out of it and you could get a goal back and it's 1 point, the manager won't be disappointed. The problem is more and more of the fans get disappointed because it's not wonderful fare.
However, Nottingham Forest supporters will not care a jot about that, because as it currently stands, they're going to go above Chelsea. They also will go above Arsenal, and they will go second in the Premier League table. Of course, those two teams are yet to play as we head towards New Year. Brentford Arsenal, incidentally, will be one of our 5 live commentaries. That's at 5:30 on New Year's Day, as Doncaster Rovers are leading at Colchester United by 1-0. Colchester unbeaten in 8, but Doncaster Rovers lead there in League 2, and St Mirren have equalised at home to Dundee in the Scottish Premiership. St Mirren 1, Dundee 1. As here is Decore, picking it up right corner of the area, plays the ball into the box and then cleared away by the Forest defence, only as far as Young, on the stretch to Mangala, skips away from one challenge, couldn't get past Murato. There's been a goal, it's at Craven Cottage. Lee Blakeman.
It's gone to Fulham. Fulham 1, Bournemouth 0. Corner from the right, nobody picked up. Raul Jimenez, great run, great header. Fulham 1, Bournemouth 0.
And another goal, it's at Watford. Charlie Slater.
Great break forwards. It fell to Ashford, who put it on a plate for Robinson to tap into an empty net. His second of the day. Watford 1, Cardiff 2.
So Cardiff, without a win in 9, are back in front. No other goals to tell you about. 5 minutes to go to half time. Going around the grounds with Alistair Bruce Ball. There is no sports report, because after this game is finished, we've tidied up all of the results. We'll then focus on our next commentary. West Ham United against the leaders Liverpool. That gets underway at 5:15. But 1-0 to Nottingham Forest, and Young with a throw on this near side. Nice little layoff by Broja. Now it's with Decore. Might open up for Everton on that left-hand side. Mikolenko joins the attack, but his cross comes shot from the inside left channel. The penalty area is too deep and it goes out of play.
Just a wee bit more dangerous on the left-hand side now. Mikolenko, as you say, third or fourth time now he's got up on that left-hand side. Good play by Decore to drag players towards him, but you have to say, when you get into that final third, Everton have finally got 4 players in the box. You've got to get a decent cross in, and there's just too much on that. It was bobbling a wee bit, I'll give him that, when we've seen a replay.
We're going straight to Tottenham. Penalty, John Southall.
And it is a penalty to Tottenham. Tottenham 1, Wolves 1. Johnson brought down in the penalty area by Andre. Heung-min Son has had a long time to wait for this one. They had to clear the Wolves players out of the area. They took a long look at it, but here he comes now. Son, 5 league goals so far this season, 7 in total. Is being made to wait. The referee will blow the whistle shortly, right in front of that big bank of Tottenham supporters behind the goal. Son takes his time, takes a deep breath on his right foot. Oh, and Son saved it, diving to his right hand side. Good save from the keeper, and it remains Tottenham 1, Wolves 1.
Thank you, John. Exeter 1, Crawley Town 3 is the latest in League 1. Everton with 3 minutes to go to half time here at Goodison on 5 Live. Still trail. Harrison midway through the Forest half. Wood is back helping out. Ball goes in towards Decore. Right side of the penalty area. Dominguez though just dropped back, helping out Williams, and Williams clears and it goes out of play for a throw.
I mean, you can't say Forest have been brilliant. They haven't been. They've been okay, and they've scored the goal. Obviously a couple of earlier chances there, but they've not been threatening the goal a great deal as well. But then, as I say, they don't actually need to do that. All you need to do is make sure that you're very hard to beat here. And shout in the background, Broja has definitely committed a foul there. But as for Everton, getting a little bit more from the left flank, they need to get a wee bit more from the right flank. Nothing coming in from that side at the moment.
It's an Everton side that is devoid of creativity. Bradford City have equalised at home to Chesterfield 1-1.
Yes, I'm very angry. Everton fans just now.
Was that towards the referee or the management?
Yeah, I suspect it was the manager. Yeah. To be honest, that was definitely a foul there. Broja just dragged the player back. Okay, they're wasting a bit of time, but the frustration's here, isn't it? You can feel it. It's bubbling under.
It is. For an Everton team that are struggling to create anything at the moment. Decore pushed over, and Pat's quite right. Forest, they haven't been stretched at all. Been very, very comfortable ever since that Chris Wood, with a delightful lob over Pickford, gave them the lead. And yes, they might not necessarily have looked like adding to it. Wood had gone close twice before that, but at the minute you'd have to say it's not a slender lead that it's in danger of being.
It doesn't feel like it, but it only needs one moment. It really does. It could be a corner, it could be a free kick. Here's Broja.
There is Broja with a shot, and he hits it left-footed, but it had no curl. Sean Dyche makes a point of falling above his head. Whether that's more directed to the supporters, I'm not too sure, because it was never going to trouble Sells. 60 seconds remain. Crawley Town have got a fourth at Exeter. Exeter 1, Crawley Town 4 in League One. But you can already hear the murmurs.
Yeah, and you just, there's a minute to go, maybe a minute more than that, and there'll be murmurs at the very least from the Evertonians here, because they've not created enough, and if they lost another goal now, it would be more than that.
Here is Wood, scythed down by Tarkowski. The referee must have said he got the ball, and the referee gets in the way, and then he blows his whistle despite the fact it falling towards Harrison. So it's going to be an uncontested drop ball.
That's a weird one, because it's, Tarkowski goes in there. If he gives a foul, he must be tempted to give another yellow card there, because he has dived in. I don't think there's any argument. He's definitely caught Chris Wood there as he's gone through.
Lucky.
I think he's very lucky indeed.
Should be off.
Yeah, it's at the very least another free kick. The referee's not giving it. A bit of a rod for his own back had he done that. But so much so that I think the manager might think, on a yellow, diving in like that, not looking at his very, very best to cost you today.
No.
Might be tempting to rechange at the back there.
Well, it's an uncontested drop ball, and Wood that's no way, in fairness to Everton, in any way has played an advantage towards them, because Wood, as Pickford looks to take it, was looking to dive in straight away. He was not I don't think he was back the 10 yards.
No, he wasn't. And the expectation as you go back, it feels unfair. But on the other hand, it should have been a free kick to Wood anyway in the first place.
Point.
And that's why Wood's so upset about it.
Mansfield have equalised at Reading. Reading 1, Mansfield 1. The reaction from the home supporters could be telling. Here is Sosa onto this. And shoots wide, and he was quickly onto it as well. Hit it first time, right-footed, edge of the area. We're into 2 minutes of added on time here, where Forest lead by 1-0. And we're going to John Southall at Tottenham.
Well, they missed the penalty, but Tottenham now have their second. Tottenham 2, Wolves 1. Kulusevski on the right-hand side pulled it back to Brennan Johnson, who smashed it in. Tottenham 2, Wolves 1.
Elsewhere, Fulham lead Bournemouth by 1-0. Palace 1, Southampton 1. In the 2:30 kick-off, Manchester City still lead at Leicester City by 1-0. Here, Nottingham Forest are 1-0 up against an Everton side that, despite being unbeaten in 4, and they'd only picked up 6 points out of those 12, it was highlighted that, Wolverhampton Wanderers have got their 2 wins before today, as here is Gibbs White towards Elanga. But you can... They're treading water, you feel, Everton.
They are just now, and I think that is Broja who's down there in the centre of the field. Everton wanted the ball played out, but now Everton on the ball, and they won't play it out. So I don't think you can complain about that Forest didn't put the ball out.
Here is Harrison. We're in stoppage time. Everton looking for an equaliser. Harrison's cross takes a deflection, looped up by Sells. There is the half-time whistle. And the boos and jeers tell its own story, really, from an Everton point of view, because they trail by 1-0. They've created next to nothing. Wood's right-footed lob, after a nice 1-2 with Elanga, gives them a deserved lead.
Yeah, well done Nottingham Forest, doing the simple things, nothing particularly complicated about it. You've got a striker, you give him half a chance, he'll have a go at goal. He's had 3 goes at goal, and the one which you expect him to score, he did score. So that's great to have that. Gibbs White has looked really nice in the 10 position when he's got there, always looking to slip a ball through. So yeah, neat and tidy, looking okay. Nottingham Forest, very professional. Everton, on the other hand, as you say, bereft of ideas. Doucouré didn't do badly today. Try and get on the end of things and die when he gets on the ball 1-on-1. Other than that, it's just workmanlike, and that's the kindest thing you could say about it.
But Nottingham Forest could be going second in the Premier League table. Half-time at Goodison. Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Pat. Nottingham Forest heading for a 5th Premier League win in a row. Back with the team for second half commentary from Goodison Park. 5:15 tonight. We've got full commentary on the leaders, Liverpool. They are away at West Ham. Half-time whistles blowing up and down the country. Not at Leicester, though. This game kicked off at 2:30 in the Premier League. Well into the second half. Leicester against the champions, Manchester City. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, and a scary moment for Manchester City. Akanji having to scramble the ball clear from the goal line from a Leicester free kick. Leicester trying to play positively as they chase the equaliser. Buonanotte causing more problems. Remember, he hit the left-hand post with a header late on in the first half. El Hanous has put one over the crossbar as well. At the other end, another tame effort from Erling Haaland. Normally we'd see him bury those, but he didn't. Manchester City's lead remains at 1-0. We've played 64 minutes. Looks like James McAtee is going to be the first player, the first substitution made in the second half, of course, coming on for Manchester City. They lead by 1-0.
So let's do the other half-times in the Premier League. At the start of Tottenham Wolves, it was 40 goals in 9 Premier League games at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this season. John Southall made that 43.
Yeah, we said it was never quiet here. Tottenham 2, Wolves 1, 2 goals in the opening 12 minutes. The opener from Wolves, free kick on the right of the D. Thought Cunha was going to strike it. Played it across to Nori, played it across to Hwang on the edge of the area, and he curled it into the bottom corner. That lasted 5 minutes. Porro corner on the right, headed in by Bentancur. Then the penalty. Johnson brought down. Son took a long time over it, and Jose Sarr saved to his left-hand side. But in added time, Kulusevski on the right pulled it back to Brennan Johnson, 8 yards out, and he finished off. Tottenham 2, Wolves 1.
Selhurst Park next. Crystal Palace against Southampton. Henry Moran.
Palace 1, Southampton 1. Southampton's first goal of the Ivan Juric era, and their first in 5 games, scored from close range by Tyler Dibbling early on. Superb work from a rampaging Walker Peters to create the opportunity. The equaliser from Cheva Chalobah left Southampton incensed. They felt, perhaps with good reason, that Aaron Ramsdale was fouled by Mateta from the corner. Since then, all Palace. Ramsdale's gloves warmed half a dozen times by an increasingly threatening home side. Palace 1, Southampton 1.
Match of the day tonight, 10:30 on BBC One. 2 informed teams playing at Craven Cottage this afternoon. Fulham Bournemouth being watched by Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 1, Bournemouth 0. Raul Jimenez's header is what separates the two teams. Pereira with a great corner. Jimenez, brilliant run, perfect, powerful header straight past Kepa. Really well taken goal. For Bournemouth, James Hill had a goal disallowed for a push. Semenyo's been denied by Leno when through 1-on-1, and Ryan Christie was booked for a late foul on Anthony Robinson. VAR checked for a possible red, but the yellow stood after a long check. Good game this. Fulham 1, Bournemouth 0.
26 3:00 kickoffs in the EFL this afternoon. We have reporters at 9 of them. Let's start at Stoke against Sunderland in the Championship. Tom Gale.
Goalless at half-time, Ali. Early on, Stoke's top scorer Tom Cannon saw his effort cleared off the line by O'Nien. The visitors somehow not ahead. O'Sheesh and Hume both with near screamers from range. Isidore hit the post, all denied by the palms of Victor Johansson, who continues to be Stoke's best player this season. Half-time, Stoke 0, Sunderland 0.
5th place Blackburn at home to Hull this afternoon. Andy Sixsmith.
Where it's 0-0, Ali. A tough watch with quality and chances at a minimum. One big one for both sides. Rovers lively and Mario Cozier-Dewberry. So his shot cleared off the line by Alfie Jones before only Ainsley Pear's leg stopped Regan Slater, giving Hull a half-time lead. It's a scoreline that helps neither side at opposite ends of the table, and it's stodgier than my Christmas stolen. 0-0.
3 goals at Vicarage Road so far this afternoon. Charlie Slater's watching Watford against Cardiff.
Watford 1, Cardiff 2. Brilliant fight being shown by a Cardiff side, 9 without a win. In front with only a minute on the clock, Callum Robinson with a sharpshooter into the bottom corner before Watford levelled in the 37th minute through Georgi Chakfatadze. That was from close range at the back post, but only level for 4 minutes. Cardiff struck again. Robinson again, who tapped home after Ashford put the ball on a plate for him. Watford 1, Cardiff 2.
That's already got me thinking about the Stollen that's waiting at home after work today. Swansea Luton next in the Championship. Half-time, Molly Stevens.
Yeah, 1-1, a palpable first half in South Wales. Luton had the perfect start. Swans keeper Lawrence Vigouroux looked to clear his lines, but instead the ball hit Carlton Morris, who volleyed home. From then, they've not had a single shot. Swansea have dominated and continually asked questions of Luton's keeper and defence, and all their pressure paid off just before half-time. Gonzalo Franco equalising from close range. Swansea 1, Luton 1.
More problems for the Championship's bottom team, Plymouth, this afternoon. Half-time at Oxford. Laura Kenyon.
Absolutely. Oxford United 1, Plymouth 0. The home side with a narrow but deserved lead in this relegation showdown. Centre half Kieran Brown, with his second goal in 2 games, has played every minute in every league game for Oxford United this season. For Plymouth, a couple of half chances. Wayne Rooney, a big half-time talk from him now, I'm sure, under huge pressure. 8 games without a win. Half-time, Oxford United 1, Plymouth 0.
In the other 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Championship this afternoon, Coventry 0, Millwall 0 at half-time. Coventry, of course, beat Plymouth 4-0 on Boxing Day. Bristol City going well at Ashton Gate this afternoon. They lead Portsmouth by 3-0. Let's take you into League One. Wrexham against Wigan. Sani Rajavajala.
Goalless at the break. Wigan have frustrated the home fans, though, controlling the game. Bit of a surprise there. Brentford loanee Michael Olakigbe, a bright outlet, but no big chances. Wrexham dangerous on the break. Paul Mullin, a nuisance as usual, but the dangerous free kicks won by him and fellow striker Ollie Palmer have been wasted. Half-time, Wrexham 0, Wigan 0.
Leaders Birmingham still playing at half-time in League One. That is currently goalless against Blackpool. The scores I forgot from the Championship, the early kickoffs today in the Championship. Sheffield United 1, West Brom 1. Preston beat Sheffield Wednesday by 3-1. Norwich got a late equaliser at home against QPR. That finished Norwich 1, QPR 1. So yes, the League One leaders Birmingham 0-0 against Blackpool, approaching half-time. Other half-time scores in League One. Bolton lead Lincoln by 1-0. Lincoln down to 10 men in that one. Crawley have scored 4 at Exeter in the first half. Exeter 1, Crawley 4. It stands at half-time. Huddersfield 0, Burton 1. Leyton Orient lead Cambridge United by 1-0. It is goalless between Peterborough and Barnsley. Reading 1, Mansfield 1 at half-time. Shrewsbury 0, Northampton 0. Stevenage leading Bristol Rovers by 1-0. And Wrexham 0, Wigan 0. In League 2 earlier on today, Carlisle moved themselves off the foot of the table. They beat Accrington by 2-1. It finished Bromley 1, Swindon 1. 2 featured games in the 3 o'clock kickoffs on 5 Live for us this afternoon. Mark Webber is watching Grimsby against Port Vale,
where it's Grimsby 1, Port Vale 0. Port Vale, like the Humpty Dumpty of League 2, tumbling off that second place in the live table as Grimsby have got under their skin and taken the lead 29 minutes in. A strong left post header by Cameron McJanet off Jordan Davis's wonderful ball in from the right. I have to say, though, Valley, perhaps the bigger story here happened 3 minutes before, when a seagull flying over Blundell Park was hit by a rising ball, fell about a foot and then dazed his way over the Humber. Some might say it was an injury on the wing. Grimsby 1, Port Vale 0.
Everyone in League 2 is chasing the leaders Walsall. They're at home to Newport County. It's being watched by Lawrence Herdman.
It's goalless, Ali. A stop-start performance by the leaders, and Newport have controlled much of the half, but Walsall nearly in front inside 15 seconds. Teenager Nathan Lowe denied by a last-gasp tackle, and top scorer Lowe again heading a corner wide from just 4 yards out late in the half. Walsall 0, Newport 0.
Your other half-time scores in League 2. Bradford 1, Chesterfield 1. Notts County are 2-1 up at Cheltenham. Doncaster 1 up at Colchester. Colchester 0, Doncaster 1. Fleetwood 1, Harrogate 1. Grimsby Port Vale we've just heard about. MK Dons leading Crewe by 1-0. Morecambe now bottom of the table after Carlisle's win in the earlier kick-off. They're 0-0 away to Salford. Tranmere 1, Barrow 1. And Walsall and Newport is goalless at half-time. Full fixture list in the Scottish Premiership as well today. The leaders Celtic at home to St Johnstone. Gavin Wallace.
The goal came on the half-hour, Ali. It was a case of when, not if. And it was Nicholas Cooney, 7th of the season. Nice ball through just on that right-hand side. He cuts in left a little bit, just onto the edge of the box, and drilled it low home beyond Josh Ray. A couple of minutes later, he could have doubled the tally for him and the team today. A curling left foot effort, just put over the bar by the goalkeeper as well. Half-time, Celtic 1, St Johnstone 0.
Celtic are at Ibrox on Thursday for the game against Rangers. The way it's going for Rangers today, they will not be looking forward to that. They are away to Motherwell. Kenny Crawford.
Motherwell 2, Rangers 0. The big banner displayed by Motherwell fans before kick-off was of Kevin from the film Home Alone, and under it the motto, "This is our house, we have to defend it." Well, the hosts have done that and more. Scored twice, Australian Apostolos Stamatella-Paulus on 16 minutes, Zimbabwe international Tawanda Maswanise on 35 minutes. Half-time, Motherwell 2, Rangers 0.
It had to be him, didn't it, Kenny, that scored the goal?
Yeah, 15 letters, and the other goal scorer has got some name as well, so yeah, I'm doing well to get my mouth around that.
Top job. Thank you, Kenny. Well done. Other half-time scores in the Scottish Premiership at half-time. Hibs leading Kilmarnock by 1-0. Ross County 0, Hearts 1. St Mirren 1, Dundee 1. The 5:15 kick-off in the Scottish Premiership this evening is Dundee United against Aberdeen. Let's get the details on half-time in League One. The leaders Birmingham at home to Blackpool. Lots of added time at the end of the first half. Adam Whitty.
Yeah, we had two big injuries that meant we had 10 minutes of added time. It's goalless at the break, but it's Steve Bruce's Blackpool that will be the happier against the league leaders. They've defended well. They should have scored when Ashley Fletcher was sent clear through, but he volleyed over. Birmingham have looked a tad sluggish. They look like a side that rested 6 players today and rested their star striker, Jay Stansfield, but Emil Hansen did force a very good save from Blackpool keeper Harry Tyra from distance. Birmingham 0, Blackpool 0 at half-time. Birmingham 2 points clear at the top as it stands.
Now then, who has scored at Leicester, Maz Faruqi?
Well, it's relief for him, it's relief for Pep Guardiola, and it's relief for the Manchester City fans over in the far side celebrating. Ali, Erling Haaland has got the second for Manchester City in this match, and I was just about to tell you about a great chance for Jamie Vardy for an equaliser for Leicester at the other end a couple of minutes ago, but there's a big smile now on the face of Erling Haaland as he's put City further ahead in this match. Leicester 0, Manchester City 2, 74 minutes played here.
All the Premier League action, 10:30, match the day, BBC 1. Manchester City 2-0 up at Leicester. Palace 1, Southampton 1. Fulham 1, Bournemouth 0. Tottenham leading Wolves 2-1 at half-time. Second half commentary on the way from Goodison Park. Everton are trailing Nottingham Forest by 1-0. That will all come after the 5 Live News with Carl Hartley.
The voice of the UK. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Alistair. South Korea has begun 7 days of national mourning after a plane crashed at Muan Airport, killing 179 people. 2 flight attendants are the only survivors. Officials say both black boxes have now been found, but tell us it could take up to a month to decode the flight data because of damage. Israel's military says approximately 5 projectiles have been fired from northern Gaza into Israeli territory. It follows an Israeli strike on Al-Wafa hospital in Gaza City, which Hamas authorities say killed 7 people. 7 people have been arrested after an 18-year-old man was stabbed to death in Derbyshire. Police launched an investigation after being called to Ilkeston yesterday evening. And the government is blaming the deaths of 3 migrants in the Channel on ruthless criminals trying to overload unseaworthy boats. They got into difficulty off the coast just a few miles away from Calais. French authorities say 45 others were also rescued.
Sir Alex Ferguson is the most successful British manager of all time.
Solskjaer has won the European Cup for Manchester United!
So how did an apprentice toolmaker from Glasgow become one of the most iconic figures in sporting history?
His strength of character, his determination, the fight in him. Ferguson was every department.
He can be persuasive, he can be charming, he can be frightening.
Go down as the best, as simple as that.
I'm Kelly Cates, and this is Sporting Giants Sir Alex Ferguson.
I didn't want to feel, I couldn't feel.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport with Alistair Bruce Ball. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Just see those Nottingham Forest players and the Everton players following them in that narrow little tunnel at Goodison Park on their way out for the second half there. Nottingham Forest leading by 1-0. We've got commentary on it here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Before we head there, quickly to Ali Pally, the latest from the PDC World Championship, the darts. James Gregg.
Well, wins earlier for Sweden's Jeff de Graaf, and in a thriller, the Dutchman Kevin Dukes. The last match from the round of 32 is on stage at the moment. It's between the world number 11, Dimitri van den Berg, and the Geordie lad, underdog here, Callan Rydz. And it's Rydz who took the first set. He's averaging over 115, a bonkers standard. Big evening session ahead, of course. Former champion here, Gerwyn Price, and an all-Welsh, all-top 10 in the world affair against Johnny Clayton. And 2-time champion Peter Wright, snakebite, up against the defending champion Luke Humphries.
Full commentary on West Ham, Liverpool to come here on 5 Live this afternoon. It kicks off at 5:15. That will be followed by 6:06. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage taking the calls. For now, we are back to Goodison Park. Second half on the way. Everton against Nottingham Forest in the company of Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Ali. Well, Everton have made a change. Jesper Lindström has come on at half-time to replace Harrison. Are you surprised it's just the one?
Yeah, maybe slightly. I think Broya probably's got another 10 or 15 minutes. What he'll say is nothing was coming in from the right hand side. Well, Lindstrom's out there and it's his job to do that now on that right hand side, but he's had very, very little to work with. But I think most Evertonians around here would like to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin on this pitch sooner rather than later.
So Everton have made that change as the second half is underway in their royal blue shirts and white shorts and white socks, and they therefore playing from right to left are attacking the Gladys Street end as we sit here in the main stand against the Nottingham Forest side, all in red. Pickford then in goal for the home team. Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikolenko, Gay, Mangala, Decore, and Jai, Broya and Lindstrom against the Nottingham Forest side that were forced into a change when Murillo was injured in the warm-up. So it meant that Raymond Sosa, a forward, came in for the Brazilian defender. Change of formation because we thought they were going to go 3 at the back, so they stayed with the back 4 as they did at in their last game when they played against Tottenham and extended that winning run. So notice Tim Cahill is taking his seat in the director's box as they walk in just in front of us. Sells is in goal, Aina, Milenkovic, Morato, Williams, and then in Anderson, Gibbs-White, Dominguez, Ilanga, Sosa and Wood. Barnsley have just taken the lead at London Road in League One. Peterborough United 0, Barnsley 1 is the latest score, and Salford City are leading Morecambe in League 2 by a 0 as well. Another early goal in the second half. It's the usual goal service that we normally provide on a Saturday afternoon, that we're doing so on this Sunday afternoon for the festive period. 5 Live, the world service, and the BBC Sounds app for an Everton team that certainly toiled in that first half, and a vast improvement is required in this second period, as that was a towering header by Milenkovic and picked up by Ilanga, and he goes to ground, and it's going to mean a direct free kick. As we get the team news from our next commentary, it's at 5:15. John Murray at West Ham.
Well, West Ham are without the suspended Souček and Rodriguez. Fabianski is absent after his head injury at Southampton, but Paquetá's back after a ban, and Soler and Kilman are fit to play. So 4 changes for them, with Fulkrug also on the bench, and Alvarez, Sofal and Areola also coming in. Liverpool are without the suspended Szoboszlai. Just 1 change for them though, and that is Diaz in for Nunez, who's on the bench.
Former Southampton defender Francis Benali will be alongside John. Commentary then live on 5 Live at 5:15. Gay was booked for that foul. Gibbs-White waits to take the free kick.
I thought it seemed a little bit light first when I seen it, then there's a replay in front of the monitors we have here. And for me, it was very, very clear. He just held on to the sleeve of his opponent for about 4 or 5 seconds. Definitely yellow.
The second Everton player to be booked. So this free kick is over 25 yards out from goal. It's right of centre. Gibbs-White has just pointed to Ilanga just to walk away from the wall. Mikolenko now has tagged himself along the 3 royal blue shirts. He's wary of Ilanga, who continues to give himself a little bit more space. Pickford, meanwhile, is happy with that 3-man wall. Gibbs-White, does he slide in Ilanga or does he go for goal? It is a direct free kick. Gibbs-White, stuttering run-up, chips it towards Ilanga. Wood is also there. Mikolenko was alive to the danger and heads the ball away. Headed back by Williams, drops on outside the D. Gibbs-White heads it, and then Milenkovic had stayed forward. They're appealing for handball there. A number of Forest players, as the ball has been cleared and Decore can't keep it in play. Let's see how quickly they start the restart from the throw, because Tony Harrington, the referee, has already got his finger to his earpiece.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that was certainly was different. He was shoved a little bit. It was Branthwaite, wasn't it? He was shoved. He was actually also holding. I can't see anything there, to be honest.
Ross County 0, Hearts 2. Colchester United at level. They're home to Doncaster Rovers 1-1 in League 2, and the throw will mean that it's about to be taken, and that VAR, with John Brooks at Stockley Park, have dismissed it.
Yeah, and correctly so. We were in having a cup of tea beforehand. There was a couple of former Everton teammates of mine in there. Without going into any names at pack drills, I said, do you expect it to change in the second half? No, was the answer.
Oh,
well, let's hope. Incorrect in that one.
Bolton Wanderers 2, the 10 men of Lincoln City 0, Cheltenham Town 2, Notts County 2. However, there has been a change at Selhurst Park. Henry Moran.
Crystal Palace have the lead for the first time today, and what a goal. Eberici Eze, edge of the box, a flashing volley past Aaron Ramsdale. Palace 2, Southampton 1.
I don't think Southampton will be looking to the new year. Southampton fans with a great deal of optimism. 9 points adrift, bottom of the table before today. But Crystal Palace certainly can. 1 defeat in 7 Premier League games, and they've come from behind. Remember, Fulham lead Bournemouth by a goal to nil, and Tottenham Hotspur also coming from behind to lead Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2 goals to 1. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 2 is a latest score. Mas Farouki's watching.
And Chowdhury's just fired a very promising ball across the face of goal, which no Leicester player could get on the end of. He's come on for Justin, McAtee and Walker on for Foden and Ake for Manchester City. 83 minutes played here, still Leicester 0, Manchester City 2.
Tarkowski robs Wood of the ball into the penalty area. Decore with a shot, blocked. And then Forest clear. 6 minutes into the second half, Nottingham Forest lead by a goal to nil. Pat.
Yeah, good work there actually by Tarkowski. He's stepping out that centre-back area. Led to, not a chance, but led to Decore getting into a decent position. Lifted a wee bit here in the second half. A little bit more energy, particularly as I say in that right-hand side. Lindstrom coming on and Decore, but it's whether they can keep that, because they'll need to get something out of this game, Everton, because Forest look comfortable.
We were going to get an update from Tottenham, but instead we're going to go to Fulham, where there's just been a goal, Lee Blakeman.
Bournemouth are level, Fulham 1, Bournemouth 1. Great ball down the right from Hill to pick out Evan Nielsen, right side of the 6 yards area. Tidy finish, past Leno. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Fulham 1, Bournemouth 1.
Bradford City have come from behind at Valley Parade. They now lead Chesterfield by 2 goals to 1. Lindstrom plays the ball inside. Gay. Quicker tempo about Everton in the second half. Here is Njai on this left-hand side, 30 yards out from goal. Rolls it to Mangala, back towards Njai. Forest still have a number of red shirts back behind the ball. Mikolenko's cross takes the deflection off the back of Aina. It's a bouncing ball. Aina heads it towards Elanga. Head tennis between the two, and then volleyed clear by the Nottingham Forest defender. As Branthwaite tight in behind Wood. Forest now with Gibbs White out in front of him, running forward, diagonal run. There's a slip there by Lindstrom. Gibbs White now with real pace, and then tried for the chip and got too much underneath it, and it goes over the top. Goal at Motherwell, Kenny Crawford.
50 minutes gone, Motherwell 2, Rangers 1. Hamza Igaman, the Moroccan, on as a half-time substitute. Danilo hit the post and he was there for the follow-up. Motherwell 2, Rangers 1.
And we'll get an update from Tottenham after all with John.
Yeah, well, it's Tottenham 2, Wolves 1, but it doesn't rain. It pours with these injuries for Tottenham, because Destiny Udogi's just hobbled down the touchline. Looks like he's pulled a hamstring. Throws 3 centre-backs out. Now Udogi out. Also, Cunha didn't come back for Wolves after half-time, so that's a blow for them. Tottenham 2, Wolves 1.
Everton are attacking. Decore, Mangala, central position midway through the Nottingham part. Out then it rolls towards Young. Gets it out with a couple of touches from his right foot, hoists it high, sells with a catch. Pat.
Yeah, not great at all. There's a lack of incision about Everton. That's one of the things you would definitely say about it. They've got themselves further up the park in the second half, but you know, Forest just get themselves into a set position. They'll have 4 defenders. Branthwaite's just come through and absolutely wiped Gibbs White out. I don't think he'll argue about a yellow card there. I think he'll take that and accept it.
So Branthwaite, 8 minutes into the second half, the third Everton player to be booked. And both central defenders as Gay now.
Do you know, oddly he gets the ball eventually, because I think he takes the player first, misses the ball, takes the player first and catches the ball with his trailing leg. So a bit of luck that you know, it's obviously the referee's said yellow. I'd probably say it's a strong yellow.
Quick free kick, and the referee wasn't happy. Words are being exchanged between the two dugouts, I notice as well. Sean Dyche still in that tiny technical area. Nuno Espirito Santo watching on. Forest have got this free kick, leading by a goal to nil. Barnsley have got a second at London Road. Peterborough United 0, Barnsley 2. Crewe level at MK Dons. As the flag is up on the near side, and it will be an Everton free kick. I was at Anfield across Stanley Park in September, where Forest beat Liverpool by a goal to nil. In their league history, they've only won away at both Everton and Liverpool once before. It was 1898-99 season. They won 3-1 at Goodison and 1-0 at Liverpool. Harry Haslam was the manager, and a player called Lem Bembo scored in both games. But Nottingham Forest, for just the second time in their entire league history, are looking to replicate that statistic as they lead by 1-0. Bristol Rovers, incidentally, are down to 10 men. Bristol Rovers trailing at Stevenage, and Jamie Lindsay has been sent off in the second half. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, just looking at Everton here, look at Sean Dyche. I mean, eventually you're going to have to make a few more changes. I mean, it'll probably get to 60 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes just now, because yes, they're a little bit livelier, but they're still not contributing and going forward. Except now the centre back's the left winger.
Branthwaite striding forward on this near side, level of the penalty area. And Jai, got to get past Ilanga, leaves it for Branthwaite once again, comes to a standstill. Forest have got every red shirt back behind the ball as they still hold on to that lead from the Wood goal. Mikolenko darts forward into an area of space, his cross left-footed on the run. Lindstrom looks lightweight in comparison to Nico Williams, who heads the ball away, and now all of a sudden there's a break on for Nottingham Forest, and it's with real purpose. Gibbs White with real pace carrying the ball on that far side in towards Ilanga, slows it down, plays it out towards Williams. Stevenage now lead the 10 men of Bristol Rovers by 2-0, and Reading are back in front at home to Mansfield Town 2-1. Both of those are in League One. This is 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service, where Forest on the break look a threat.
They do, and there's that comfort you've got in the ball when you're A, ahead, and B, at the top half of the table, more than top half of the table, in comparison to Everton. When they're going forward on the break, it just seems so staccato, you know. They play it forward, but they have to make sure they're certain about everything, a single pass. You can't do that in the Premier League. That opening's only there for a millisecond. You have to take chances. No Everton player looks as if they're capable or willing to take those chances going forward.
It's going to be a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Far side the left, playing from left to right. Ilanga right-footed, long diagonal ball right down the throat of Pickford. It's a two-handed catch by Jordan Pickford in his bright green goalkeeping outfit. Short sleeve shirts, throws the ball out. Decore carries it over the halfway line, then leaves it towards Broja. And Jai at the minute has gone central,
which they do sometimes, and they almost always look better when Jai is playing as the number 10.
But it's on the Everton right, and Lindstrom can't deliver the cross the first time of asking, tries to beat Williams, then delivers the ball, kneed away by Morato, picked up by Young, 30 yards out from goal, right-footed ball into the area, away from Njai. He'll try and keep it in play, and succeeds. Got to get past Aina. Aina, though, has recovered very, very well. Good defending by the Nigerian international, but equally good was Njai in winning it back. Decore, much more of a threat from Everton. Lindstrom, left-footed, edge of the area, curled it wide, but much better from the home team.
Yeah, it just shows you Njai much more involved now, plays a little bit more centrally for the moment. And I think Everton fans would all like to see him playing more centrally. You know, if they possibly could. They've got 3 central midfielders. Yeah, Decore gets a little bit further forward, but at some point Everton, they need to sacrifice either Mangala or Gay. One of the two of them sacrificed, put Decore a little bit further back, get another attacking player on, and you've got a chance. Before that, you know, you just can't see Everton creating enough chances to get themselves back into this game.
Another goal at Celtic, Gavin Wallace.
It's that man Kyogo. Ian, Celtic now 2-0 up against St Johnstone. Bernardo fired in a great shot, point blank save from the goalkeeper. Kyogo was there to head home. Celtic 2, St Johnstone 0.
Kevin Nolan recently appointed manager of Northampton Town. They lost 4-1 at Reading on Boxing Day, and they've just fallen behind at Shrewsbury in League One. Shrewsbury 1, Northampton Town 0. Oxford United, Plymouth Argyle has seen another goal. Laura Kenyon in the Championship.
It's Oxford 2, Plymouth 0. Shami Poheta with a storming run showed great composure to beat his defender, turn and then dink it over the keeper. Plymouth already with heavy defeats on the road this season, could be same old story. Oxford 2, Plymouth 0.
So our next commentary will be at 5:15. We've already had the T News from John Murray, West Ham United against Liverpool. Then it's 6:06 at around 7:15. 08085909693. Speak to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Tomorrow we'll have commentary of Ipswich Town against Chelsea, and then on New Year's Day, Brentford against Arsenal, which is a 5:30 kickoff live on 5 Live.
It's absolutely beyond me something just happened there. Just Gay went down injured there, rolling about in utter agony. Had to stop the play. He stopped Everton trying to get a little bit of momentum going, and then 10 seconds later he's absolutely perfect. That's the last thing you want to do when your team's trying to get forward.
Well, here is Idrissa Gueye on the right-hand side, upended, back to his feet. Forest clear, up towards Gibbs White. Oral Mangala, though, with the interception. Just over 50 appearances he made at the City Ground after they'd signed him from Stuttgart for just over £12 million for the 26-year-old midfielder, Tony Harrington. The referee doesn't give a free kick as an Everton player looked for it. Branthwaite with a header away. Decore tidies up, back towards Mykolenko. Hesitation. Ilanga's in with the interception. Here is Wood. He rolls it in towards Gibbs White, and Gibbs White scores. Nottingham Forest continue to fly high. Morgan Gibbs White increases their lead, adds to the misery of Everton at Goodison Park. But the jubilant Forest fans are celebrating. They're going second in the table. They lead 2-0.
He is a class act, Morgan Gibbs White, isn't he? I mean, he's still got a lot to do. The Curry's got himself back there, but he does not panic. Was in front of goal. He dummies the Curry there and then lashes it by Pickford. And it's the calmness in which he does it when he's under a lot of pressure. It's as if there's no one near him, but he's got a man marking him. Great understanding there between him, and when they get forward, I mean, first of all, that pass back there by Decore wasn't great anyway, but they understand with Chris Woods there, knowing that he will sometimes get the ball, mostly get the ball from Gibbs White. Well, he returns the favour there brilliantly. What a finish.
They look so exposed as soon as Mykolenko hesitated. Ilanga seized it, and they made Everton pay. Elsewhere, Motherwell 3, Rangers 1, Cheltenham 2, Notts County 3, Exeter 2, Crawley Town 4, Shrewsbury 1, Northampton Town 1, and there's been a goal at Wrexham in League 1. Sani Rudravajula.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Ryan Barnett driving from the right hand side into the box, deflected inside the area. Wrexham take the lead. Wrexham 1, Wigan 0.
We'll go to Stoke. Tom Gale.
Stoke 0, Sunderland 0. Visitors asking all the questions there. Keeper Anthony Patterson, a bystander, attack after attack, but this leaky Stoke defence is standing firm. Stoke 0, Sunderland 0.
Blackburn Hull City in the Championship's been watched by Andy Sixsmith.
0-0, no chances, Deno, plenty of substitutions. Blackburn on top as they search for a winner to try and keep up playoff pressure. 0-0.
2-0 though to Nottingham Forest, going second in the table. And this story of Nuno Espirito Santo, they've already surpassed actually their total of wins in the last 2 seasons, 9 in the last 2 seasons. This is going to be their 11th win out of 19, as they're going to leapfrog Chelsea and Arsenal.
I suppose one of the things you say about it, if you're hoping with some expectation to get in the Champions League, these are the games you got to win. And you know what? Without being absolutely brilliant, they've been clinical, they've been very mature, and when they've had their half chances, they have really made capital out of it. They've been really good middle to front when they've had half chances.
That goal, incidentally, at Fir Park was chalked off through VAR, so Motherwell only lead Rangers by 2-1. Mangala chips the ball into the penalty area, gathered in by Sells. Full time now in the Premier League in the 2:30 kickoff. Leicester City, Manchester City, Maz Farouki.
Manchester City's first win in 6, but you imagine the clean sheet will be very pleasing as well for Pep Guardiola. The goals, 1 in each half from Savinho and then Haaland, but big chances for Leicester at 1-0 for Buonanotte and Vardy. Full time Leicester 0, Manchester City 2.
Well, here Nottingham Forest almost to a third. Shot spilt by Pickford, got the block in at the second chance, and then the loose ball was fired wide.
Well, the goalkeepers will tell you, as long as you save it. But he just put the ball back out into the area. You shouldn't do that. So that's a mistake with Pickford there. Even though it was tough, it was bouncing in front of him. However, his follow-up save was excellent. But that's 3 chances within 2 seconds for Forest. Couldn't take any of them.
It was Sosa with the first effort. They rebounded off the body of Pickford, and it was he then that saw his effort then deflected behind for a corner kick. Cheltenham 3, Notts County 3 is the latest score in League 2. There's a corner for Forest on that far side. He's headed behind by Broja. Celtic have got a third. Celtic 3, St Johnstone 0. Gavin Wallace.
And it's Kyogo again, Ian, as you say, 3-0. Ball whipped in from the right-hand side into that corridor of doubt. Goalkeeper didn't want to come. Kyogo ahead of 2 defenders to tap home. Celtic cruising 3-0 against St Johnstone.
Hibs still lead Kilmarnock by 1-0, but Danny Armstrong has been sent off for Killy in the second half. Another corner kick for Forest, flicked on at the near post by Wood, and goes off gain off another Everton player. Crowded 6-yard area, a third successive corner kick.
Well, the temptation, Forest been trying to make a substitution, and Everton are trying to make 2 substitutions here. They don't want to make it a corner kick. I don't know why Forest don't do it. It's their corner kick. No reason why they shouldn't make that change now.
There's a yellow card brandished there as well for an imagined delay in the restart. The Tony Harrington quickly showing it, as we're going to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming on, somebody who Pat Nevin said it wouldn't take too long. Patterson likewise is going to be coming on. A double change is in the offing. Young will be the one to make way for Patterson, and Mangala will go off for Calvert-Lewin. So they'll go with both Broja and Calvert-Lewin at the top. Here is Williams just getting a foot into the challenge. There was Decore. Can Everton try and break? Possibly. Broja picks it up over the halfway line. It's 2 against 5. Those red shirts were flooding back, and they got the foot into the challenge as well.
I think the Broja being caught in the ball there is just not acceptable. If you're a centre forward, you've not got the pace to get away from something. But just make sure you keep the ball and bring others into the play. Lost it there. However, another half chance for Everton to break.
Joe Johnson's been sent off for Luton Town. Swansea City 1, Luton Town 1 is the latest, but Luton then down to 10 men. Cross from Lindstrom, flying header out by Milinkovic. Nottingham Forest are leading by 2-0 as Tarkowski picks it up over on that far side. And we will go to Fir Park and Kenny Crawford.
Pat Nevin's going to get even happier. Motherwell 3, Rangers 1. The free kick came in. Dan Casey's header hit the bar, and Tony Watt was there for the follow-up. It's now been checked by VAR, but it looks like it's going to be Motherwell 3, Rangers 1.
A real humdinger at Cheltenham. Cheltenham Town 3, Notts County 4 is the latest score in League 2. And Bolton Wanderers lead the 10 men of Lincoln City by 3-0. You're up to date. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. 66 minutes played. Nottingham Forest leading by 2-0 against this Everton side, and it was Jordan Pickford, just for a bit of housekeeping, who was shown the yellow card for dissent towards referee Tony Harrington. 66 minutes played. We're going to win the league, is the chant from the Nottingham Forest travelling support.
Do you know you're 2-0 down just now, you're Everton? How long have they been trying to get these 2 substitutes on down here? They've got a limited amount of time. You've got to take a chance when it comes. The 3 or 4 corners coming in, there's been another stop in play. They've still not made those substitutions, and fast running out of time. But whether they can make enough of a change difference is hard to imagine at this moment in time.
They're also going to make a change of Forest. Willie Bolly's going to be coming on. Only his 5th appearance of the season, so he will just come on to shore things up, I would imagine, as here comes the double change. But let's get news of that sending off of Joe Johnson from Molly Stevens at Swansea.
Yeah, Swansea 1, Luton 1, and Luton are down to 10 men. Joe Johnson shown a second yellow for a foul on Swansea's G-Sun on. Before that, Luton looked to be turning the tide on Swansea with more dominance on the ball, but it's an uphill task from here. 20 minutes with a man down. Swansea 1, Luton 1.
So it was Gay who's come off for Calvert-Lewin, and Patterson coming on for Young. And Bolly is going to be coming on for Nottingham Forest. So there's a stoppage in play with Forest leading by 2-0. And Kenny Crawford at Fir Park, that goal again disallowed for Motherwell.
Yeah, VAR checked it and it was disallowed for offside, so it stays Motherwell 2, Rangers 1. Motherwell have had 2 goals disallowed in the last 5 minutes.
Also in Scotland, St Mirren 1, Dundee 2 is a latest score, as Chris Wood is coming off to the side of the pitch, but it's not him who's coming off, because it's going to be Raymond Sosa who's going to be coming off for Willie Bolly. So Wood's just coming off after getting treatment. He's got to be off for 30 seconds. Bolly comes in for Sosa, and I would imagine they'll now go to 3 at the back.
Yep, Everton will change it. Exactly the changes I would have suspected that Everton would make. Thing is, that doesn't make me clever. That just says the limitations that you've got. If you are, Everton just now, bringing on Patterson's a good idea. He's good at getting forward. Everton fans aren't absolutely convinced him, but at his best, I've seen him play before. He could add something going down that right hand side from right fullback.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin. This is the voice of Lee Blakeman at Craven Cottage.
Fulham 1, Bournemouth 1, 2 great Fulham chances. Iwobi with the cross, Jimenez at the back post, first header well saved, second one cleared off the line, then Evan Nielsen for Bournemouth nearly scored on the counter down the other end. Great game, still level at 1-1.
I don't think that Everton have still had a shot on target as yet. I'll just double check, but I'm sure that they haven't.
Ian has got a yellow card just for wasting time there. throw in. But you're right, I mean, it's the quality when it's finally got into that final third, from right and it has to be said from left as well, it's been poor. And it's as if they've not believed that if we put the ball in there, there's anything really to aim at. They've got Broha in there beforehand. They don't trust him to put the ball in there. So you've now got Broha up there. It's alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You might have Doucouré coming on to give him a little bit of help as well. They're throwing it all at Nottingham Forest now, but it seems very late.
Gary Flintoff has just confirmed Everton are still yet to register a shot on target. 20 minutes remain. Now, should this goal stand, there's been another one at Fir Park. Kenny.
As far as I know, it's going to stand. Motherwell 2, Rangers 2. Another goal for Hamza Egeman. Got the ball in the box, turned, and from about 12 yards nestled it in the same bottom right hand corner he scored his first in. It's Motherwell 2, Rangers 2.
Celtic are leading St Johnstone by 3-0 as the ball is played back to Branthwaite. Rolls it now towards Tarkowski, right of the centre circle. Everton attacking the Gladys Trees end, playing from right to left. Patterson, the substitute, comes on, wins a corner just through sheer tenacity.
Yeah, but look where he's got the ball. He's actually got the ball right on the byline. So that's a big difference, Immediately he's come on. I actually think his first touch was terrible. But managed to get a corner kick out of it. But his willingness to go forward, he is basically a wing back. He's playing at full back, but he will get up there all the time. Problem is, quality once you get there. It needs to be good.
Everton then have got a corner kick, far side the right. It'll be an outswinger. Didn't beat the first man. Headed out by Williams. Leyton Orient 2, Cambridge United 0. Peterborough United have got a goal back at home to Barnsley. Peterborough 1, Barnsley 2 is the latest in League One. Celtic have just got a fourth. In comes the cross. There was that pesky stanchion in the way. I'm not too sure who got the head on the end of it as Forest running out of play for an Everton throw. Gavin Wallace with news of that fourth goal.
That's a lovely ball through from Paulo Bernardo to Dazin Maeda. He makes no mistake and sticks it beyond the goalkeeper from about 6 or 7 yards. Celtic cruising and up 4-0 against St Johnstone.
Cheers, Gavin. 2-0 to Nottingham Forest here, and Jai waiting to take the throw. And Bolly got a yellow card there, the substitute for delaying the restart. So the yellow cards are just starting to tot up now from referee Tony Harrington. And Jai.
Yeah, you're watching Jai in the middle there. They haven't got a better team now.
Patterson with a cross, in it goes. They're going to need that three-man defence. Milenkovic heads it out and then marshals his defence and pushes those red shirts out of the penalty area. Mikolenko on this near side, the left. It was Fulham 1, Bournemouth 1. There's been a goal. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham are back ahead. Harry Wilson's got another. Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1. Good work down the left. Robinson with the cross. Wilson, brilliant header. Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1.
So in the other 3 o'clock games, the home sides are all leading by 2-1. Crystal Palace against Southampton, Fulham against Bournemouth, and Tottenham Hotspur against Wolves. Commentary to come at 5:15. Don't go anywhere. We'll zip around the grounds on 5 Live, and before you know it, you'll be listening to John Murray and Franny Benali at the London Stadium. Beto is going to be coming on. It's not going to be pretty the next 17 minutes, but Everton and Sean Dyche will hope it is at least effective to try and get their way back into the game.
But it's been a bit more positive, but only because the system's changed to one that's just slightly more front foot. You're going to have to take chances. You're going to have to leave 2 centre-backs back there and ask your full-backs to go forward. You can't have 2 sitting midfielders in front of them, which is what you always get with Everton. You're 2-0 down. You've got to take chances. In actual fact, it looks a little bit better, but that's when you're 2-0 down. You've got to do that with your 0-0.
Awonyi is going to be coming on. Jota Silva is also going to be coming on. So Forest will respond with a double change just to try and pep up the attack, because they're going to come under a little bit of pressure. This aerial bombardment. In comes a cross. Swept goalwards by Mangala, and it was swept wide, and it will be a goal kick as the deadlock has been broken at Ewood Park. Andy Sixsmith.
And it's gone to Hull, Denholm. Blackburn 0, Hull 1. Cross coming in from a right hand side. No one cleared it. Ryan Longman there smashed it home. 0-1.
Hull City are leading. Broya is the player coming off, his first start for Everton. So Beto comes on for what is his 50th appearance for Everton. He scored just 7 goals in his previous 49. In one of our other featured games in League Two. There's been a goal that involves the leaders, Walsall. Lawrence Herdman.
At long last, the leaders in front. Walsall 1, Newport 0. A corner headed back, and top scorer, teenager Nathan Lowe, smashing it home for the Saddlers. It's Walsall 1, Newport 0.
And Uwonyi is going to be coming on for Wood, and Gibbs White is going to leave the field. So both the Forest goal scorers, Gibbs White and Wood, are coming off. Uwonyi and Jota Silva coming on. Pat.
As I said, they haven't had a huge amount of the ball, those two players that have come off, but they've also been the two most influential players on the field. Gibbs White, when he gets the ball in, that final third there, he just always looks as if he's got more time than anyone else in that field just now. And his second goal summed that up. And Chris Wood does what Chris Wood does. Half a chance in goal, it's on target, he always makes good use of it. He's having a fabulous season.
If Forest are to get European football for next season, it would actually be 30 years since they were last involved in Europe. 95-96 was when they competed in the UEFA Cup. So the usual goal service on a Saturday afternoon around this time of proceedings. We would then rattle through the various divisions to bring you up to date. So these are the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic the leaders, 14 points clear as it currently stands. The leading bottom of the table, St Johnstone, 4-0. As the long free kick from Pickford goes all the way through to Sells. Does that count as a shot on target? Motherwell 2, Rangers 2. Motherwell down to... Motherwell 2, Rangers 2. Ross County 0, Hearts 2. St Mirren 1, Dundee 2. And Dundee United Aberdeen will get underway at 5:15. It's Kilmarnock who are down to 10 men as they trail at Hibs by a goal to 0. Let's get another update with the darts and James Gray.
The star of a lad called Callan Rids from Newcastle continues to rise. They call him the Riot. He was averaging 105. He's thrashed the 11th seed, Dimitri Vandenberg, 4-0, and he's into the last 16, Deno.
BBC Radio 5 Live, 13 minutes remaining. Everton have the ball. Every outfield player in the half away towards our left. No other goals to tell you about. But the groans of despair is because Tarkowski's gone all the way back to Pickford from just inside the Forest half.
It kind of sums up, you need to take chances, as I was saying before. The ball was wide right, didn't play it because didn't want to take a chance.
And Jai, was he barged off the ball? The referee says yes. And the ironic cheers from the home support means that Everton have been given a free kick. Well, regardless of your opinion of the referee Tony Harrington today, I don't think it would be at all fair to point the blame directly at the referee.
I don't think he's done anything bad.
You just sense the way that the crowd...
They're frustrated. I don't think Everton fans are that stupidly biased to walk out in the pubs and clubs tonight and say it was the referee's fault. There's no way they're going to say that if they don't get back in these last 12-13 minutes.
Light rain is now starting to fall at Goodison. Just blowing from right to left the way that Everton are playing as Lindstrom hits a free kick, dipping effort, took a deflection, corner kick. The two results in League Two earlier, Bromley 1, Swindon Town 1. Andy Woodman takes his side now unbeaten in 11. Carlisle United 2, Accrington Stanley 1 is how it finished. I'll give you the latest scores in League Two after we've seen this corner kick for Everton. On the near side, the left, punched away well by Sells under pressure. Branthwaite was coming towards him.
Oh, there's a break on here.
There is a break on. Anderson on the left-hand side. He's got a choice of Uwonyi or Elanga. He holds onto the ball, and then it's cleared by Morato downfield. Tarkowski stabs it back into the path of Jota. And Forest, all in red, playing from left to right, now are able to come forward with Elanga. Jota makes the run ahead of him, left-hand side of the penalty area, crosses the ball back. The scissor kick away by Mikolenko. Latest scores then in League Two. Bradford City still lead Chesterfield 2-1 at Valley Parade. Cheltenham 3, Notts County 4. Colchester United 1. The 10 men of Doncaster Rovers 1. Fleetwood 1, Harrogate 1. Grimsby Town 2, Port Vale 0. 7 without a win, that would be for Port Vale. MK Dons 1, Crewe 1. Salford 1, Morecambe 0, who will now go bottom of the table as it stands after that Carlisle victory earlier. Tranmere 1, Barrow 1, and Walsall, the leaders, lead Newport County by a goal to 0. They're looking for 6 straight wins in League Two. As Everton attacking. Calvert-Lewin lays it off in towards the feet of Beto. Cleared by Forest.
Looks better down that right hand side now, doesn't it? Constantly flying down the right hand side. Parsons made a difference. Again, I say he's not over impressed a lot of the Everton fans. I think he's a very, very good player that just needs some games under his belt.
Jordan Gibson has been sent off for Doncaster at Colchester. He gave them the lead, but has now been shown a second yellow card. Calvert-Lewin heads it back, and Jai down into the ground, left-footed, off-target, goal kick. Forest still lead 2-0. So Peterborough United are also down to 10 men, because Peterborough have had a player sent off. Peterborough trailing at home to Barnsley by 2-1. Harley Mills at London Road has been sent off. So the two results earlier: Charlton 2, Wycombe 1, Rotherham 1, Stockport 1, Birmingham 0, Blackpool 0. This is the latest now: Birmingham, Blackpool 0-0 at St Andrews. Bolton lead Lincoln 3-0, Exeter 2, Crawley 4, Huddersfield 0, Burton Albion 1, Leyton Orient lead Cambridge 2-0. Mentioned Peterborough, Barnsley, Reading 2, Mansfield 1, Shrewsbury 1, Northampton 1, Stevenage 2, Bristol Rovers 0, and a goal now at Wrexham. Sani Rodavagila.
And a deserved equaliser for Wigan Athletic. Wrexham 1, Wigan 1 is Manchester United loanee. Off the bench, Joe Hugel with a bullet header from across from the left. Wrexham 1, Wigan 1.
Cross from the left, headed forward by Calvert-Lewin. Make a note of that. 81 minutes, Everton's first shot on target.
And it comes from Calvert-Lewin. He couldn't get any power on it at all. But once again, Everton is lifted a bit down the left-hand side. Talking at the start of the game a bit, you got to get the full-backs forward. You've got to stretch teams a little bit. Since they started doing that, Everton looked a bit better. But they've only started doing it since they went 2-0 down.
Forest are going to make another double change. Ward-Prowse and Toffolo are going to be coming on, and whilst that happens, we'll go to Grimsby and Mark Webber.
Yes, whereas Grimsby 2, Port Vale 0. The defender's doing the work. Doug Tarmey, the substitute defender, in at the back post for the second one here at the moment. So it's Grimsby 2, Port Vale 0.
Toffolo replaces Nico Williams. Anderson will be replaced by Ward-Prowse in the midfield. Let's go to Tottenham, John Southall.
Tottenham 2, Wolves 1, 2 Tottenham chances. Werner with the ball across the 6-yard box there with Solanke sliding in. Any connection would have been 3. Then Kulusevski through on goal, cleared off the line by Bueno. I still think Wolves might have a goal in them. Tottenham 2, Wolves 1.
Leeds United in the Championship, displaced at the top, although they do have a chance to change that in that 5:45 kick-off at Derby County. Third place Burnley, their fans are on their way to the northeast where they're taking on Middlesbrough. 7th against 3rd, that's an 8 o'clock kick-off. But Sheffield United currently are top after a 1-1 draw at home to West Bromwich earlier. The two other results in the Championship from the 12:30 games: Preston beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-1, Norwich 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. These are the latest scores: Blackburn 0, Hull City 1, Bristol City lead Portsmouth 3-0, Coventry 0, Millwall 0, Oxford United leading bottom of the table Plymouth by 2-0. Elsewhere in the Championship, Stoke and Sunderland 0-0, Swansea 1, Luton Town 1, Luton are down to 10 men, Watford 1, Cardiff City 2. Watford could be losing their unbeaten home run this season, as Everton still 2-0 down with 6 minutes remaining. You're up to date, 5 Live, the World Service and the BBC Sounds app. 5:15 commentary to come from West Ham against Liverpool. As here now is Lindstrom, turns, fires a flat ball in, headed on by Calvert-Lewin and headed wide, goal kick.
How frustrating is it if you're an Everton fan? Constant, getting the ball in from the right mostly, and now and again the left as well. They're moving the ball quicker, there's a liveliness about them. It's as if the pressure's off now that there is no expectation. They've actually played quite well in the last 5 or 10 minutes, whereas the maturity of Nottingham Forest, they know exactly what they need to do. Soak up a little bit of pressure, and if they get a chance in the break, they'll take it. It's been a really grown-up, mature performance by Forest.
Exeter City 3, Crawley Town 4 is the latest score. Hearts have just got a third at Ross County. Ross County 0, Hearts 3. They've also been clinical in front of goal, haven't they, Forest?
Yeah, and that makes a big difference. But you can't be clinical in front of goal if you're Everton. If you're not getting anything in front of goal, there hasn't been any shots in target until that header from Dominic Calvert-Lewin a couple of minutes ago. And it was just the paucity of the final ball from Everton for the vast majority of that game. It really stands out. They've got to do better than that.
They were looking to go 6 unbeaten at home in the Premier League, of the best run of since Carlo Ancelotti's days, but it's coming to an end here against a Forest side leading 2-0 and well worth it as well. Peterborough United 1, Barnsley 3 is the latest score. Everton get a free kick midway through their own half. At every opportunity, Sean Dyche has just turned round just to berate the fourth official. Every chance.
I mean, he basically wants the game to move as quickly as he can and try to put it into his mind that it should be a little bit more extra time at the end. There's psychology involved in that as well. But it's got a feeling if you could play an extra 10-15 minutes here, it might not be enough for Everton.
Here is Calvert-Lewin. Mangala plays it first time. Runs towards the left-hand side of the penalty area, attacking the Gladys Street end here on 5 Live. Mikolenko looks to go past Aina. Aina again shows his strength. He was superb when they won at Anfield back in September. And again, he's had another solid game.
There's a lot of players come through that Chelsea academy that have turned out very special. He's one of them.
That Hart's third goal didn't stand, so their lead is still 2-0 at Ross County. And Jai on the halfway line with 5 minutes remaining. Everton still trail 2-0. And Jai away from Ward-Prowse, still got a lot of work to do as he runs now at the heart of the Forest defence and slips it out towards Mikolenko. First time cross is a high one and a deep one. Lindstrom a little bit off balance. He's going to be beaten there to the ball by Toffolo, who waits for it to settle, then hits it long. I mean, now all of a sudden you can see the Forest game plan, can't you? Just looked ahead on the break.
Absolutely, and it makes perfect sense. But just I was explaining about the final ball. Brilliant position Everton got into there on the left-hand side. There's nobody in front of Mikolenko, just put it into a dangerous area. Couldn't. And as I say that, same happens from the right-hand side as well. Final ball's been awful.
Well, it's your degree of speciality, isn't it? Or one of them.
I mean, to us, you wouldn't think it's that difficult. It's not that bubbly out there. The pitch is pretty good. If you've not got a player in front of you, you should be able to put it in between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper with some sort of regularity, but the amount of times Everton players have put it into the stand from that sort of positions is incredible.
They're only 3 points above the relegation zone. They'll still be nervously looking over their shoulders for some time, but the fact that we have 4 minutes remaining and a lot of the Everton supporters are heading for the exits tells its own story here at Goodison. What's happening elsewhere in the Premier League? Craven Cottage, Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1. Fulham with chances to kill it there. Iwobi's just had a shot blocked inside the area. Castagna with a cross that Wilson couldn't quite get on the end of. It's tight, 4 to play. Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1.
They're moving, of course, to a new stadium for next season. Brand spanking new at Bramley Moor Dock. Goodison Park, home of Everton since 1892. Their farewell campaign for a ground that has seen some success and seen some players down the years will not be remembered with fond memories on current evidence. As Tarkowski hits it long, Beto tries to head it on towards Calvert-Lewin, and Everton still threatening with Calvert-Lewin, rolls it out towards that far side. Forrest with the interception. Now John Southall a few minutes ago sensed that there could be a goal from Wolverhampton Wanderers. There has been one, but who got it? John Southall.
What about this, Ian? Tottenham 2, Wolves 2. Strand Larsen on the left of the 6-yard box smashed it into the roof of the net. We are going to have a lot of added time here. I reckon about at least 8 minutes. We've got 3 minutes of normal time to play, and it's Tottenham 2, Wolves 2.
Well, that could be a precious point. That would take Wolves to 16 points.
Yeah, good chance here for Beto. Ball played in there, good angle there. I think Bransgate put it in there. Beto got on the end of it. Told a good save from the goalkeeper.
Cross blocked on this occasion, comes out towards Beto, plays it into the inside left channel of the penalty area. Mikolenko had made the run, but Forrest defending stoutly towards Ilanga, touches the ball down the right touchline. Break is on for the away side. Iwanyi towards Ilanga. They've got pace and abundance, the two of them, but the ball from Ilanga was a rather tired one, and it allowed Everton to get the ball back. And Swansea City against the 10 men of Luton have made that count, and it looks like Luton Town will have lost their last 9 away from home, because in injury time Swansea City lead Luton by 2-1, and Grimsby Town have got a third against Port Vale, 3-0 at Blundell Park in League 2. 90 seconds remain here at Goodison, and Nottingham Forest are heading second in the table for the first time since Frank Clark in the 95, when they finished third under Frank Clark. They're going to be winning 5 in a row in the top flight. Nuno Espirito Santo.
He just looks so calm with it. He believes in this side, doesn't he? It's taken him a little while to get him doing exactly what he wants and knowing the types of players he needs and knowing the right players to play at the right times. He's got it all now, and it looks really, really comfortable today.
So we had a late goal at Tottenham, where it's now Tottenham 2, Wolves 2, and we've just had a late goal at Craven Cottage. Lee Blakeman.
Same scoreline here. Bournemouth a level, Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2. Moved down the left, ball into the area, picked out the substitute Ouattara, back post, unmarked, in it went, 2-2.
Stephen Isley, the 10 men of Bristol Rovers, by 3-0 now at Broadhall Way. Everton still trailing 2-0. We're about to find out how much added on time there will be. There should be 5 minutes of added on time. We'll see the electronic board go up in about 30 seconds time in front of the Gladys Street end, just in from the left touch line. It's going to be a free kick that Njai waits to take. Forest have got every red shirt back around the ball as Njai runs in now and strikes it right-footed, curls, headed out by Ward-Prowse. Jota could get there, could be a break on, helped out by Elanga. Jota does get there, and now Elanga takes over. Elanga now enters the penalty area. Pickford with a save, followed up by Awoniyi, and then off the body of Pickford and diverts it behind for a corner kick. We're into 5 minutes of added on time. Forest still lead 2-0.
Well, we knew what what Forest were trying to do, and they did it beautifully there. Ball cleared up from a free kick that Everton had. When the break was on, you just knew if they get a first touch, no one was going to catch Elanga. Elanga gets away there. Well done, Pickford. Gets the angles right, gets his timing right. Not one save, but 2 saves. He's been really good again today, hasn't he, generally?
He has. Before today, only Chelsea and Liverpool had gained more points on their travels than Nottingham Forest, but this win actually will mean that Forest have collected the same amount of points as Chelsea and Liverpool, 20 away from home, as the corner is taken short on the right hand side. And this is a Forest side that have won away at the 2 grounds that currently have the best home records in the Premier League, Liverpool and Brentford. A late goal at Wrexham in League One. Sani Rudavangela.
And it's the home side who's taking it. Wrexham 2, Wigan Athletic 1. It's substitute Stephen Fletcher off the bench, the 37-year-old, for chesting down a James McLean cross to find the bottom corner. 90 gone, Wrexham 2, Wigan 1.
They'll go above Wycombe Wanderers in the table, and they'll just move behind the leaders Birmingham City, who are still drawing 0-0 at home to Blackpool. As the ball goes long, Calvert-Lewin's header will be dealt with by Toffolo. A goal in the Championship now at Stoke City. Tom Gale.
Injury time. Stoke 1, Sunderland 0. Tom Cannon fouled on the edge of the box, gets back up and rifles the shot into the bottom corner. Managerless Stoke 1, Sunderland 0.
Ryan Shawcross in caretaker charge. That would be their first win in 10, and certainly a blow to Sunderland, 4th in the table, as still Leeds United and Burnley out to play. Lundstram going down inside the area. There was appeals for a potential penalty shout there for Everton, and Forest bring the ball away.
I think that would be very much a long shot. I think that Lundstram was doing as much pulling it as he was being pulled.
Here is Beto running forward. He goes down inside the centre circle, and also taking advantage is Ward-Prowse, who's also gone down and feeling the effects of that. Beto's on his feet. Ward-Prowse might stay down a little bit longer.
Trying to see what happened there. It wasn't obvious what happened with both players. We're just having a look at that argument for a penalty from Lundstram. Not a chance.
Huddersfield Town, who went into today's game against Burton unbeaten in 12, have got a late equaliser in the regulation 90. Huddersfield 1, Burton Albion 1, as the rain still sweeping across Goodison Park. And we have 2 minutes remaining of added on time. Exeter City 4, Crawley Town 4. The home side with an injury time equaliser at St James's Park. Here is Njai. Plays the ball forward and straight through towards Sells, gathered in by the Forest goalkeeper, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, Njai, he's kept on trying. I mean, he's moved about a lot and he's tried everything, but to be honest, his game's been a little bit off, particularly in this second half. And you could say that about this on Everton side, whereas Forest are cool, calm, relaxed, playing with a real confidence, not over exerting themselves. You look at Everton and how old did you say this stadium was?
It was built in since 1892 it's been Everton's home.
I think the players look more tired than the stadium.
The Forest supporters celebrating on the far side. They're climbing the table yet again. Second they will be this evening, and as we said earlier, guaranteed to be top 4 at the turn of the year for the first time since the late 80s. under the great Brian Clough. We have 60 seconds remaining. 5 in a row. Nuno Espirito Santo took Wolves into Europe. Might well be looking to try and follow that feat with Nottingham Forest. And just think, he only took charge on the 20th of December last year. He's turned them from relegation candidates into European contenders.
That is extraordinary. I mean, I know they've brought a lot of players in, and there has been some money spent, but a lot of the time it's not been in names that you thought, wow, that's going to get you right up into the European challenging places. But you know, they are so well organised, without being in any way flashy. And I said, sometimes you watch Hudson-Odoi, a big player for them. He's not available today, but the other players that have come on as substitutes for the main starters, they haven't let the team down. They haven't made it look any weaker. It's a really nicely balanced group.
They've recruited extremely wisely, and they are second in the table, and their winning run goes on. There is the final whistle. They've beaten Everton by 2-0. A lovely, delightful lob in the first half by Wood, and a composed, clinical finish by Elanga just past the hour. Everton didn't have a shot on target until 9 minutes from time. It was grim in the first half from the home side. It scarcely improved.
Well, it lifted a little bit in the second half, only when Everton went 2-0 down. But that's because Forest knew what they were doing. Okay, they just sit back. No need to exert ourselves, no need to get anyone injured. Play in the break, we're pretty good in the break, as was shown in 3 or 4 very specific occasions, and particularly for both goals. So yeah, that system worked really well. They're a really improved, grown up, mature side that are now growing in belief again. Everton, exactly the opposite. At the start of this game we thought this might be tight. Do you know, by the end of it, it looked like a team in the European places playing a team in the relegation area, and that's exactly what it is.
Cheltenham 3, Notts County 5 is the latest score in League 2 as the Forest players go over to celebrate with a travelling support, because they are second in the Premier League. It is finished. Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 2.